To Manhattan Community Board 4, our business license and permits monthly committee meeting. Everybody, I hope, has a copy of our agenda. It was updated this morning by Nellie. It includes, for the committee members, possible open dining steps for discussion as an item on our agenda. Hope you've all had a chance to look at that. This is a continuation of our meetings by Zoom. We have an executive order from the Governor of New York, Order 202.1, that gives us the ability to have meetings by Zoom rather than face-to-face, which is, I was going to use the word normal circumstances, but who knows what those are. Hopefully, maybe by this time next year, we'll be back to face-to-face. We have six items on the agenda. Maybe let me take a look. 8, plus the open dining. So I'd like to have us introduce ourselves. I'm Bert Lazarin, co-chair of the committee.
And I'm Frank Hall-Zubiak, the other co-chair.
I'd say on my left and my right, but I don't know who's on my left and who's on my right. So committee.
Inga Ivchenko, public member.
Okay.
Christine Berthet, member.
Mike Noble, member. Just a picture of me.
Wendy Gonzalez, member.
Sabrina
Brian
Reverend,
Sokal.
member. Oh, sorry.
Gary Keenan, member.
Rob Walker, member.
So Sabrina and Brian, you want to do it now separately rather than simultaneously?
Sabrina.
Brian, it's okay, Sabrina.
Okay.
Brian Sokal, member.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. And I see faces of our applicants. Hello, hello. So on the agenda, we have the items grouped. We have the first grouping is the application alterations. Number 1 is 401 West 53rd Street. Changes to hours of operation. I guess that's about it. Do we have the applicant here?
Just Bert, before we start, I wanted to remind everyone that as with all the community board meetings, this is being recorded and will be up on the community board website on YouTube. It's also being streamed live on YouTube. And second, as anyone who's been with us before knows, what this committee will do will make a recommendation on whether to grant or deny a liquor license to the full board, which will hear these applications and vote on them again on November 4. The full board will then make a recommendation to the State Liquor Authority. But again, what we do and what the full board does is only a recommendation. We don't have power to grant or deny liquor licenses.
Yes. Okay. Number 1, item number 1, 401 West 53rd Street.
I have a question. There are no hours of operation on the form.
Look on the agenda, we have 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah, but the form has nothing.
Yeah, so they have it on the first page where they say what alteration they're seeking to do. But yes, correct. They didn't fill out the second page correctly. Is the applicant here?
Or a lawyer? Any representative of the applicant?
They're typing in the chat that they're here.
Yep, they wrote they're here.
Okay.
Okay, let me move them over. Give me 1 second.
Thank you, Nellie.
Hello?
They on mute?
They're listed under panelist, but I don't know why we can't hear him.
They're on mute, probably.
No, they're,
You on?
He's fixing it.
he's fixing it. He's having audio issues.
I'm here. This is funny.
Well, why don't we move ahead to item number 2? And then we'll come back to 1. Item number 2 is 351 West 38th Street, Quadrum 38. This is also a change in method of operation and alteration to add an interior restrooms to the rooftop area.
Yes, thanks, Bert. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Donald.
Okay, hi, everybody. Donald Bernstein on behalf of the applicant. You'll probably remember this from December of last year when we appeared before you for this hotel license application that we reviewed at great length back then and which you recommended approval of. We then filed the hotel liquor license application with the State Liquor Authority, and we have the approval of the State Liquor Authority. There has been a change since then, and the change really was COVID that hit us and affected us in so many ways. And with respect to the hotel, what it did is make us realize that we've got this outdoor space on the 26th floor roof terrace, which is on a floor that also has a number of guest rooms. And when we first planned the use of that space, it was intended to be amenity space to be used, the outdoor portion of the 26th floor, amenity space for use by the guest room on that floor. It was not open to the public. You would have to be an occupant of that guest room to use that space. Now we're realizing the importance of having outdoor space that is open to the public. It's important not only for us, but we believe for the public, not knowing how long this may continue, and also just an appreciation of the importance of having some outdoor restaurant space. The other restaurant space in this hotel is all indoors. So the application that we have before you this evening is for 2 things. One is a change in method of operation to allow us to use that not just as amenity space, but as a regular restaurant that's serving meals, full menu, with a service bar that will be open to the public. And because we're putting in a service bar, it also is going to be an alteration. None of the other operational issues relating to the hotel are changed. The hours remain the same. All of the stipulations that we negotiated with you and all of the aspects of operation that we presented back last December remain in place. The only change is converting it from amenity space to public space. In fact, I think the seating for that outdoor area, which did originally have 57 seats, is now going to be reduced. I'm sorry, it was originally 66 seats on the outdoor portion, and now it's being reduced to 58 seats. So it's actually, the occupancy will be a little less. The bar, as I said, is not a stand-up bar. Patrons cannot go up to it, sit at it, or order a drink. It's a service bar only, allowing the waitstaff to go and get a beverage and be able to bring in people sitting at tables. We did have Al Firestein come back. You may recall that he did an acoustic study back last year that we gave to you relating to that outdoor space. He came back and issued a report on September 18th, which supplemented his October 2019 report. And he found that the conversion that we are seeking has no change in acoustic factors. So all the acoustic elements that were in place before will remain in place, and his recommendations will continue to be followed. We did do some outreach to neighbors. We spoke to Frank and Christine about this. We spoke to the Hudson Yards Hell's Kitchen Alliance, have a letter from them, the Hell's Kitchen Neighborhood Association, the Garment Center bid. We're all advised of this and are supportive. And that's the application.
Donald, I take it the revised hours sheet that you sent to me this afternoon, your client's okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
So the hours that we had presented to you, I think with the 2 a.m. closing for those spaces, remains unchanged.
Some of the hours on the sheet that breaks out the various spaces didn't conform with what we agreed to last time, but that was a technical mistake. So that'll be corrected. So the only changes, as Donald said, is relates to the roof, how it's used, and the bar up there.
Are there any questions from committee members? Any comments?
Yeah, can I ask how, so it had a capacity of 66. How often was it at maximum capacity?
Never. It hasn't been open. The hotel hasn't been open yet.
Yeah, we have approval of the license application by the State Liquor Authority, but we haven't pulled it because the hotel's not opening until
Right.
Spring of next year.
Okay, so we don't even know whether it will be packed all the time, because when guests only have use, things are usually quieter. I don't know what's surrounding, because I never did a site visit on this. So I don't know what's around there. I don't know. I'd have to defer to Christine and Frank if they did the site visit. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, we did, where am I? Yeah, we did the site visit, and we know that location pretty well, and at that level of elevation, there is really no neighbor whatsoever.
Okay. I'm going to defer to you guys, so.
Yeah, and just also so you know, there are no standees, whether at the bar or elsewhere. This is just
Right.
single service, and at its maximum, you're talking about 58 people. That's if it's full to the max.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Any members of the public signed up to speak, Nellie, on this?
No, I have no one with any raised hands.
Okay,
Motion to approve?
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Let's go back to item number 1.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Donald.
luck.
Good night. Have a good night.
You too.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yeah, hi, sorry, I need to fix my microphone earlier.
So would you like to say something about the change of your hours?
Yes. So we decide to open sometimes 7 days a week because we took a huge hit from the COVID. We haven't opened since March, so that's like almost a half-year delay. So we would like to make the liquor license more flexible for us. So 7 days a week, so we can decide like which day can close. We can have more freedom on the schedule. And also, we would like to add some daytime for the liquor license because we do have a lunch hour from 11:30 to 2:30. So we would like to add some time during for lunch. That's why I proposal from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And so far, neighborhood really love our restaurant. So I think if we can bring the liquor for the daytime, we can attract more customers to come to our restaurant. Yeah, thank you.
So you have been open already?
Yeah, we opened, I think July 1st. So we are open now.
Okay. So what they're doing is we already approved the 11 p.m. closing time, which they're not seeking to change. They really just want to open earlier in the day so that their liquor license covers lunch. So it's not making it any later.
Yes. We actually opened lunch like from July 1st, but we did not sell any liquor this whole time for the daytime. So we start sell liquor at 5:30 to 11. So that time did not change at all.
Yep. Okay. On the form you submitted, there are a couple of things you need to correct. on page 2, there's a chart where you're supposed to put in the hours you're going to be open and the kitchen's open. Your form just had check marks. You need to put in every block the hours that are supposed to be in there, 11 to 11.
Oh, I will correct that tonight and send it again to Nelly.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I will do that ASAP.
And the other thing that I think is a mistake is you answered the question differently this time than last time. There's a question that asks if you're going to use outside promoters, and you said yes on this form, but you said no the prior time. So I think you mean no.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Yes.
Okay,
that's
so that's on page 2 as well. So if you could correct that.
Okay, I will correct.
And the last thing, the bar that you have there is only a service bar, correct?
True. That's only.
And no one can go there to buy drinks, right?
No. That's just a sushi bar. That's a workstation just so our customers can see our chef make sushi. That's it. That's not a liquor bar.
Okay. That's all I have, Bert.
Okay. Any questions, comments from committee members? Inga?
I have one. I have a question. Are you currently using the street to help your business?
Oh.
Have you set up in the street and the sidewalk?
Yes, we do. We do have street. We set up a tent on the parking space street, but we don't have any street. So the walk side, we didn't set up any table on the walk side.
So you've kept the walkway free. That's very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Because we have a huge, a big stairs in front of our store, so there's really not enough space for 6 feet. So we can't put any table and then maintain 6 feet away from the storage.
Thank you. Some people are doing it anyway. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm happy with this application.
Thank you.
I'm just going to follow up. Thank you for reminding me. You don't have any music outside, right?
So far, no music. So
it would be good to keep it that way because it's normally it's not permitted and it's very disruptive to other operations.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we will not play any music outside. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do anybody have their hand raised from the
Christine, do you wanna add a stipulation about that, or?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, so sir, will you agree that there'll be no music in the in any outdoor space?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we're going to add that as an additional stipulation on the form.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nelly, anybody have their hands up to speak?
No, no one.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a
To
motion.
approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Present, none eligible? Okay. Moving on to category number 2.
Good luck.
Thank you.
New wine, beer, and cider license applications. 366 West 52nd Street, Toribro, Ramen. Is the applicant here? A representative of the applicant? Nelly? Do we see anybody?
Hi, here.
How's Kim?
Yes, right. And then the Anthony is like JU is here, but I think his microphone is not working here now. I don't know.
So,
Can you go ahead, or do you want us to wait and see if you can get him on the line as well?
Yeah, I want to wait him a little bit now.
Okay, so why don't you, we'll move ahead. When you're both on, just put it in the chat and we'll come back to you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, he's
okay.
Okay, this is Jay.
Here's the second one. Okay.
so you're both here now.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead, guys.
Okay, we are applying for the restaurant wine license for the transfer. It's been licensed to sell beer and wine at the location at 366 West of 52nd Street. It is a Japanese restaurant. The operating hours are 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. We have about 5 tables with 10 sittings. And we also have a food counter with 10 sittings. And the premises is about 400 square feet. That's all I have. And then, I'll answer if you have any questions regarding.
So do you have any connection to the prior operator, Toto Ramen, or are you completely new?
Mr. King, can you answer?
Yeah, this is like we took over that place. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, we took over that place.
Okay. But are you a new operator, or did you have any connection with them?
No.
Okay. So one thing, we got some letters from the community, and actually we've been hearing about this for years, that when Toto Ramen was there, the crowds were so bad that they hung around on the sidewalk, they sat on the stoops of the neighboring buildings, and the sidewalks were basically impassable. And that operator kept saying they would do something about it, and they never did. So I guess I'm asking you sort of what your plans are, if you are as successful as we all hope you are, and you get those kind of crowds waiting.
Mr. Kim, do you have an answer for it?
Yeah, actually, that place was really noisy, and then everything is messed up before. But we changed the name, and then everything is new. And then I used to work there like 3 years ago, and then as a just kitchen guy. But now we just opened like 2 months. Everything is really quiet and everything new. And then they have like location nearby, like just 2 blocks away, Toto Ramen, another one. And then we don't have any connected with them. And then we have just new ramen, and then people is gonna be new people coming, means we are clear everything for the new generation and the new everything, I think.
Okay, but what do you do if you're full and there are people waiting to eat there?
Well, we don't have any waiting now, and then.
But what if you're as successful as your predecessor? Hopefully, you will be that successful. So
we're gonna try to only just for the reservation. The walk-in is usually we do, but we're gonna take the only reservation for future, because I don't want people want to wait outside, because really it's kind of we cannot handle and we cannot control them. That's why I knew it's gonna happen again. It makes me really no good for everybody, like community board and then the customer, and then for us same. That's why I want to make a reservation way, and then just think about it way too.
I think it would be important if you met with the Block Alliance. I know they've requested and they've invited you to come speak with them, and as far as I know, you haven't. And they would like to sit down and discuss this issue.
Okay, because as you advised, we contact all of them on the list, and then some people, about a couple of people, asking me more information about it, and then I answer all the information what they asked for it, but we were never invited to any kind of meeting or any kind of discussions.
Well, that maybe is in the past, but there's an invitation to come speak at the HK 4954 Block Alliance. They would like to meet with them.
Okay, I'll try to meet with them. I'll try to contact them. HK, what was it?
HK 4954 Block Alliance. Steve Valita is the chair.
Nellie, can you get them the contact information?
Yes, I will send it over to you.
Okay, appreciate that, thanks. Right now, the place is really tiny. We have only 20 sittings, and I didn't know there was a problem, the customer sitting outside, whatever. We didn't know that. And then that's why I couldn't answer your specific questions, but I will get back to you with more, security plans, and then, more better answers for that questions. But as far as I understand that, we don't want to have that kind of problems in the future. And if it become a problem, and then I'm gonna put somebody, one of my employee, stand outside, and then if those things are happen, and then we're gonna ask them to come into the store, or there's the little outside. It's like a half basement, and then we have a little space right in front of the store, and then we're gonna make some kind of a sitting area. I'm gonna make them to wait there.
Okay, I see Christine and Inga want to have speak.
Yeah, when I look at your plan, talking about this issue of the queue and the line on the sidewalk, I look at your plan, the map, the plan of your restaurant, and it seems that your counter is going all the way to the entrance. And I think if you would cut that last two stools and reduce your counter a little bit, so that you would have a vestibule there, and you could have much more people waiting there. So that would be my suggestion, so you can have more waiting space, because we want.
Okay, go ahead, man.
We want you to be successful, but so if you had 2 less seats at the counter, and the counter would be a little bit shorter, then you would have a waiting space.
I see. Okay. I'll take your advice,
Okay.
and then we're gonna think about those things.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And
Inga?
I just have a question. So are you going to be using the street space, a parking space for the restaurant, the outdoor dining? Are you going to use space outdoors?
Mr. Kim, can you answer it?
Yeah, we're gonna use the street. Yeah, only north side and the only street. Yeah, road side. Yeah, roadway.
Okay. So you're going to use the street space for extra tables, but not the sidewalk.
Yeah, not sidewalk. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
You are not going to put any music outside, right?
No music.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll agree to a stipulation that you'll have no music in any outdoor space. Is that right?
And nothing on the sidewalk.
And nothing on the sidewalk. That's why I keep asking this, because I think that's important. I've encountered a lot of bad street combo sidewalk restaurants lately.
Yes.
Yes, no sides, no music. Yes.
I mean, if you're going to use the street, I think the sidewalk, especially in those streets, should be kept open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Just so we're clear to you and your attorney, we're going to put this in as a stipulation, as one of the terms that you're agreeing with us. Okay? No music, and outdoor dining is only on the street, not the sidewalk. You're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And before the full board is meeting on November 4th, the first Wednesday of the month of November. And so when the full board will be reviewing our recommendation that we make tonight, it would be good by that time you have met with the Block Alliance and maybe have an answer to Christine's question, what her suggested change of seating.
Okay.
Yes?
Or that may depend on when
they meet, yes.
When they meet, because they only meet once a month.
I don't know
when in the month they meet.
Right. I don't know what their schedule is.
But at least reach out to them as soon as you can.
I will try to do it tomorrow.
Any other additional questions, comments?
Yes, I did the raise hand function. This is Twee. I did the raise hand function. May I speak?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Just to go back to the reservation and the crowd control, what I see people doing now, especially since restaurants are now at only 25% capacity indoors, is maybe you could have a reservation system where you have people only use open table, and that way people know that they really can't congregate, so to speak, so they know it's by reservation only.
That's what he said, isn't it?
Response?
Well, are you asking a question?
That was a suggestion in terms of as an alternative or in addition to the removal of the 2 stools as had been previously suggested. In terms of prevention of any crowding, if people know it's by reservation only, then there won't be people standing around as walk-ins, and so you would reduce potential stoop sitting and yeah.
Okay. I also take a consideration of your recommendations. Anyway, yeah, this is a really tiny place. It's a maximum, we have about 20 sittings and then 400 square feet. And then, we tried to push it to, the most of the sale to go. But there are people, during the weekends and they want to sit down and have it. But we will also, like right now during the pandemic, you only can put 25% of total capacity, which is not a lot of people in there. And then meanwhile, the community's concerns, we also have to concern about survivability of business too. So right now we are more pushing it as far as the online sales for takeout and try to minimize the sittings at these days. But yes, I will take a full consideration of your recommendations also.
Thanks for that suggestion, Tweet.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the committee wants to say anything? Anybody from the community has a raised hand, Nellie?
No, no one.
No one. Do I hear a
Motion to approve.
Second.
with the steps that we've enunciated? All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstaining, present not eligible. Okay. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good night.
We'll see you all November 4th.
All right.
Okay, Section 3. We're on to the new liquor license. Wine, beer, etc. Item 4 on the agenda, 142 West 24th Street.
Yes, excuse me. Good evening, members. Good to see everyone again. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. My name is Maston Sansom. I'm the attorney representing the applicant. I'm joined here this evening by Gary Maida, who's the general manager. I can't see him on my screen, but you may be able to see him, or at least see that he's present. I don't exactly know, but I'm also joined by Al Firestein, the sound consultant who did a sound study involving a roller cover for a second floor terrace. Al should be on as well. Again, I can't see Al. I don't know if it's because there's too many people or whatnot, but I will talk a little bit about the general parameters of the proposed application and then certainly answer any questions throughout this discussion, but also I'd like to turn it over to Al because, as I mentioned, he did perform a sound study.
Hold on one second, Nellie. Can you move Al over?
I just moved Al. Who was the other person?
Gary Maida.
Okay, I'm gonna move him over.
Thank you.
Great. So as mentioned, this is an application for a full liquor license for a hotel. There on the first floor, there's a dining area. In that dining area, let me back up. There's a first floor dining area, but then there's also a second floor dining area where there'll be one bar will be located. It's the only stand-up bar. There will be 19 seats at the bar. There are no service bars. And also on that second floor, there's a second floor terrace. That will be fully enclosed by a roller cover. That's a polycarbonate roller cover. There will be the music will be recorded. Music only, no jukebox or DJ or anything like that. the hours of operation for the service of alcohol inside. And now I get it's a little confusing because the roller cover is kind of inside, but the area that's not the roller cover, we are hoping to serve alcohol from noon to 1 a.m. But the outside or underneath the roller cover would be only till 10 p.m. The number of seats out under the roller cover would be 76 seats, 20 tables. Now, I know on the application, it says TBD, no less than 76 seats. Well, that was what was tested. That's what we would agree to and stipulate to. I think I couldn't find it, but I thought I read somewhere that there was a maximum capacity of 90 out there, but you know, we understand that the test was for 76, so we would limit it to that. As I said, it's recorded music only. And I'd like to turn it over to Al, I think, if you would allow, so Al could discuss a little bit about the study and the results. So Al, you may be talking. I can't see you, but you're muted, just FYI.
No, you have Al?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so I did a study in August. I did my usual background late night survey to see what the background noise was. Remember, we're in a pandemic, things a little bit quieter than normal. Do you guys all have copies of my report?
Yes.
You do. Okay. Basically, I look at the minimum noise level, which I'll move my phone for a second. Sorry. And can you see that graph? So that graph shows the level from 11 p.m. to 11:20 p.m. And there's two curves, a black curve and a red curve. And
Al, I don't think your camera's on. We don't even have a photo of you, let alone any graphs or anything.
oh, good. All right, start video. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Video.
Yes, I'm hearing yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this shows the sound levels of the bass, which is the red line, and the mid-range, which is like voices, and that's the black line. And they're roughly about the same. And this is, you know, occasionally a truck goes by or there's a siren, but generally the sound level is around 55 decibels, 55. Can you all see that? So what I do is when I look at these types of data, then I put them into a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet calculates a number of factors. I don't usually show this to people, but I'm going to show it to you now. Can you see this spreadsheet I'm showing you now, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've got here is
You're mute again, Al.
Again, Al.
Al,
You muted yourself, Al.
Al, we can't hear you. Oh, boy.
Oh, it's logical.
I'll try to.
For a sound engineer, it's logical, right?
Al, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
am I complicating things too much?
We
Couldn't
actually
hear
couldn't
you.
hear
You were muted.
I'm muted.
You were. You're
Oh, no,
okay
you
now.
were. Don't touch anything now.
Yeah, just say what you did and point again.
Okay. Interrupt me. I'll break every few seconds. Interrupt me if I lose something. But basically, I show that compared to a 3-foot distance where these measurements are made inside the roller cover, we're going to be 50 feet away from the nearest residences, which is on the north side of the street. Okay, everyone hear me so far?
Yes.
Okay, so based on that, the sound level drops, of course. Sound level gets quieter with distance. So after the music noise travels, it's down to 59. The voice levels after travel are 53. However, the ambient sound level is 56. Going inside an open window, believe it or not, the sound level drops another 11 dBA when you open a window all the way. Now the roller cover, that's the key thing here. This is going to give us an average of 17 decibels of reduction. Everyone hearing me continuing so far?
Yes.
Okay, so when you subtract all these things, the music final level inside the apartment is 30. The voice final level inside the apartment is 24. I realize there's lots of apartments across the street. There's 3-story buildings, there's 4, 5, 6, even a 7-story building across the street. But these noise levels are actually lower than the ambient sound level inside the apartment, which is basically this 56 minus the 11, which is about 45. Now, New York City has a number of codes. One of them, it says that in the dBA level, the maximum you can have is 42. Well, the ambient sound will be louder than that, but that's not the key thing. The key thing is that our music will be below that 42. So 30 is lower than 42, we're within code. But also on this graph, you can see there's all these different frequencies. That's bass, mid-range, treble. Think of it like a piano keyboard. There's the bass, the mid-range, and the treble. And I have a line here that says music okay. Can you all see that? Music okay?
Yeah.
If it wasn't okay, there would be the letters NG in that line. There's no NG. And when I graph this all out, you can see that with the voices are going to be down here in all the different frequencies, and as well as the dBA level, which I stuck on the right at 24 dBA, way lower than the ambient, way lower. Not half as loud, because you guys have heard me talk before, 10 decibel reduction. A 10 decibel subtraction means it's half as loud to the average person. So 35 is half as loud as 45, and 25 is half again as loud. So this is more than 4 times loud. This is 1/4 as low as the ambient. And that's for the voice. And for the music, again, we have to be below not only the 42 dBA limit for music, and we are, but we also have to be below all of these bass and mid-range limits, which were put in 1992, what was where they finally, thank God, added bass to the regulation. And all of our music is going to be considerably below that. So it's all in the report. These charts that I'm showing you now are in the report. Let me stick my phone there, and if I can answer any questions for you.
Al, so we've been, getting a lot of roller covers presented to us, but we haven't actually have any experience with one that's been installed. Have you sort of worked with any that have been installed, such that whether they work?
Okay, well, let me tell you about roller covers. Let's see.
No. I know, I've read all about roller covers. I guess my question to you is, are you basing it on abstract projections of what roller covers say they can do? Or have you actually seen one, enclosing a space and confirmed whether it behaves the way your reports suggest they will behave?
Thank you for asking that question. I'll send you your $10 later. The pictures on page 11 of my report show the Empire Hotel. My clients who live in this building at 61 West 62nd Street sued the Empire Hotel. It was a whole big case, a nice appeal. We won the appeal because they were making too much noise when they opened their roller cover. I didn't make them put a roller cover in, they had one. And you can see pictures of the roller cover open and closed. So finally, when they lost, they were forced to deal with us, and I actually measured the standard roller cover, open and closed. And then on page 13 of my report, you'll see a chart that says sound level reduction. And you can see, while it does not do a great job in reducing bass, the roller cover, because after all, it's Lexan, it's like bulletproof plastic. It does do a very good job at reducing mid-range and treble noise. So I always base that on the actual measurements I made, because That's what I like to do. It's the real world. It's not just some manufacturer's bullshit.
Okay, so since they've kept the roller cover closed at the Empire, have any of the your clients or any of the neighbors had any complaints?
Yes, but not because of the roller cover. The Empire Hotel has a, let's say, this roller cover is on the west side, closer to New Jersey. And they have this open area that doesn't have a roller cover, which is a great contrast, by the way, on the east side, closer to France. And so that's where people have still been congregating, and they have a smoking area, and people have complained. But the lawsuit ended, as far as I know. I was dealing with Chris Cobb of Wolf Holdenstein Law Firm, and so we basically got that solved.
Maston, I guess I'm confused about a couple things. When you filled out the stipulation sheet for the roller cover terrace, there's a question that said, will you have any music out there? And you said, will there be no amplified music? And you said yes to that. Was that, are you saying you're gonna have music out there now?
I'm sorry, where's that? On
the outdoor items page 5 of the STIP form. It was one of the ones you sent us a revised version of.
Yeah, okay. And so, will there be no amplified music? And we said yes. Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the only music would actually be inside at this point. So the only music that you'd hear would be when someone walks out the door to go outside, out into the roller cover area. But I don't think there are any plans for any speakers or televisions or at least speakers in that area at this time.
So, Gary, and will you stipulate that there won't be any speakers out in the roller cover area?
Yes, to my knowledge, there will be no speakers. As Maston said, there are speakers inside the bar area. So when people exit, and that door is open, you will hear some music, but it will be very low and it's very easy listening music. However, what I will say is that if it's an issue, if the plan calls for speakers outside, we are happy to not install speakers outside.
That'd be great. So the only music would be spilling over from inside when the doors open or something.
That is correct.
Okay.
Can I interject, guys? I did my whole report based upon the idea that there would indeed be speakers in the roller cover area. And that's what I put in there. Not that they would just be inside and would leak out when there would be basically hardly any sound from music going outside. And I have the levels at a relatively low 88 decibels, 88 dBc, measured 3 feet from the speaker. Now 3 feet, as we all know from COVID, is basically like 1 arm's length away. So imagine you get next to a loudspeaker, a small loudspeaker with like a 6-inch woofer, and you touch it. You're that close to the speaker, and it's only 88, slightly louder than the voices that are going to be all around you of 77. And I think that's quite reasonable. It's going to stop that noise, and all the charts, everything in my report is based on that. Do with it what you want.
Well, that's great, Al. Just made it be even more quiet. And as we've discussed in earlier meetings with the applicant, every time we've had a roller cover, people have agreed not to have any speakers in the roller cover area. So that was sort of our request to them a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So I have a question.
We of course want to be good neighbors, and we obviously it'd be nice to have some background music out there, just to break up the silence. But we would, I think, stipulate to that.
Now, and look, if you get the thing built and you want music, you can
Come back.
Come back.
I think you said that you were going to close it at 10, but on the STIP form, our standard ask is 10 p.m. and then 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. I assume you prefer the 11 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then last thing for me, I believe you said this, but I want to include a stipulation. So the roller cover includes the whole thing, sides, roof, everything, right? And you
Correct.
agree to keep it permanently closed.
Correct, because my understanding, I mean, because in order to open it up, you have to open large portions. And it's not like you can just open a little window and hold most of the sound in, I think, which then kind of may defeat the purpose of the roller cover. And we didn't.
No, I didn't mean to make it a big issue. I just wanted to make sure, since it's going to be a stipulation that, you'll be agreeing to.
Christine.
On the page 10, which shows the opening and the capacity by area, I think it would behoove all of us to separate your second floor into the inside and outside, because because all of those things we are discussing, no music, blah, blah, etc. So I think that's a suggestion.
Yeah, and I think, Maston, we'd asked your colleague to do that, and you did update page 2 and 5, but you didn't update the chart.
Right,
So
right.
do that would be great.
Because when
the page 10 of, okay.
It's page 10 of the submission. So there's 9 of 9, and then there is a page which is multiple space floors.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So you need to break down second floor, inside, second floor, outside.
Okay.
So that in the future, it's clear to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
These roller covers, whether to deem them inside or outside,
right. Whatever.
Well, you can label it how you want. You can say terrace covered by roller cover, but just something that distinguishes it from the true inside space.
Okay.
The brick and mortar inside space.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Any other committee members, comments?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. On page 13, there's a blueprint, and the blueprint shows the bar on the inside, but on the other side of the wall, it shows that there are seats there and there's a retractable window. Now, during the warmer time, is that window going to be open, and will that music be bleeding through?
I'm sure we certainly, if there's a window that's capable of being open and you can have some cross breeze, that might be something that the applicant would want.
But what cross breeze? If there's a roller cover on it, it's no cross breeze.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't mean cross breeze, there's no outside. So you're talking about a window going from the traditional indoors to a window.
According to the blueprint right here at your bar, on the inside, just on the opposite side of that, facing the outside, you have 6 chairs and a retractable window that is wide enough for 6 chairs for people to sit there.
Okay.
It's like to be a folding. It looks like it's a folding window. Folding wall.
Exactly, but if they have music on the inside, that's going to bleed to the outside. That's the point I'm trying to make, because that's going to wind up keeping open. That's all.
Yeah.
Gary, can you address if we're reading that the right way? Is that how this is being built?
Well, from what I understand, it is a retractable window, and in the warmer months, it would probably be in the best interest to have it open. However, as Al had mentioned, the music, which is going to be on the inside, may bleed out through this open window, but the sound is going to be barely audible on that terrace area. So I don't think it will impact anything.
Well, I think we have to put some numbers on it. When you have an opening, sound can go through. And frequently I'm involved with bars that already have a noise violation because the city came by and they measured noise out on the sidewalk. So usually the first thing I tell them, and it's just common sense, is you don't have any speakers right next to the opening. You don't have any speakers with you. And if you have speakers that are even remotely close to there, you point them away. So that points the mid-range and the high frequencies away. And as long as there's a limiter on the indoor sound system, which parenthetically I will say protects the sound system from ever blowing up, then you've got the best of both worlds.
Mhm. So are you ready to put some limiters and take into account those recommendations on the bar area?
Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Al.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
why you have a
and
consultant.
we would stipulate that, no speakers would be pointed outside this window. They wouldn't be within a certain, footage. I mean, we
Okay, how about this? How about which I think you would obviously do, you will stipulate that you're going to implement all of the recommendations of the Kustalog report, right?
No, the report doesn't test that. The report tests the outside, but not the inside going outside.
That's
But
correct.
It assumed there were speakers in the roller cover area.
Right.
And those weren't going to bother residents.
Right.
So if there are no speakers in the roller cover area, and we're only talking about sound bleeding from the inside, it's even more attenuated than what Al tested.
Well, no, Al has to still put limiters on the indoor sound.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Will you do that, Al?
Yeah. Remember what I said before. When sound goes in through an open window, or in this case, out through an open window, it loses level. In the case of an ordinary window, about 11 dBA. In the case of a large opening like this, which looks like it's maybe 12 feet wide or something, then it probably is going to be more like 6 dB. So I would say they really have to limit the sound level inside so that there's no speakers within 8 feet of the opening, okay? Make that a stipulation, 8 feet of the opening. None of them pointed toward the opening.
Al, this is getting too complicated. Can you just revise your report and then they'll agree to abide by it?
All right.
I mean, is that okay, Maston and Gary?
Yeah, we're really.
I don't think it's a lot of work.
No, I know. I just have a little concern that, okay, so it's going to be background music on the inside. There's nothing on the outside, and it was tested. So the amount of overflow, and then I don't know, limiters, when I go back to the client and say, hey, we gotta, you gotta purchase these. I don't know how expensive limiters are.
I think he's using limiters as a generic term.
Oh, okay.
He's just going to tell you can't have speakers within 8 feet of the windows.
Okay, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
It's not a piece of equipment.
I thought you needed some big electronic.
There are also limiters on the level.
Inga, wait. Al, so is that right? You weren't talking about more equipment. You were talking about placement and such things.
Yeah, well, the limiter costs $400.
Correct.
So, and very often, it's built in. You see, when they buy the sound system, I don't sell sound systems. I used to install them, but they buy it from some company, and the companies always want to stick in a device called a processor. And the processor can do anything. It can do limiting. It can, do zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So very often the limiter is already built into the price of the sound system. It's not expensive.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll agree that Al will revise his report and that Gary, you will implement all the recommendations.
Yes, sir.
And then can we also say that you'll, once you hit 10 and 11 and you're not using the roller cover space, all the doors and the windows will be kept closed?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Inga. I'm done now.
No, I just knew what a limiter was.
Good.
A limiter is like a little man. When he hears the sound, when he hears the sound go up too loud, he turns down the volume. You try to override the little man keeps going, and the little man always wins.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a little woman, and she always wins.
Okay, on that note, do I hear a...
Well, wait, do we have more public comments or?
Sorry, I had a question. This is Twee.
Yeah.
The roller covers. Can you remind me how long they take to open and close? Like, does it take 10 minutes? Does it take 2 minutes?
It depends on the roller cover. Some of them are motorized, some of them are manual. It takes a few minutes either way.
Yeah, so for this one particular location.
I don't know if they're using manual or non-manual. I'm recommending it stays closed all the time.
Right.
That's
It's never going to open. That's what we're stipulating to. So, you know, I don't know. They may want to purchase one that can open it in the future, but we would have to go back to you to.
Well, yeah, the application that's before us is that it's closed.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter if it's manual or whatever the opposite of manual is, automatic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it's a good concern, but not applicable for this application. Any other questions, comments from committee members? Nellie, anybody out there?
No, no one.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, let me just summarize the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just summarize the steps.
We have a lot of steps.
The outdoor terrace will be covered with a roller cover, which will fully enclose the space and be kept permanently closed. There'll be no speakers in the roller covered outside area. Acoustalog will revise its report to address minimizing the noise coming from inside through the windows into the roller cover space. The applicant agrees to incorporate all the recommendations in the revised report, and all doors and windows from the inside space to the roller cover space will be kept closed at all times after 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. on weekends. You okay with all of that, Gary and Maston?
Yep.
Yes.
And revise the STIP form.
Yeah, I don't think we need a STIP for that, but
No. I'm just saying.
Yep, I will get that to you. I'll get that to Nellie tomorrow.
All right, good.
And you had that revision of the gender of the limiter? Okay, so we have a, Rob, did you make a motion?
Yep, I made a motion based upon all that.
Second.
Okay.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, present not eligible. Okay. Good luck, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone.
Okay. Item number 5, 155 7th Avenue, Blackwater. Hi. Go ahead.
How's everyone?
Good.
My name is Sam. I'm the applicant for 155 7th Avenue, doing business as Coffee Project New York. We are a coffee roaster, and we have multiple cafes around New York City. And we just opened up our new Chelsea location, located on 7th Avenue between 19 and 20th Street. The square footage of our location is about 1,100. We're looking at operating from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. from Sunday to Thursday. And Friday and Saturday, we're opening from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. We're only looking at serving alcohol after 11 a.m. because we'll be having brunch. And the liquor that we're focusing on serving is all coffee focused. So we'll be doing coffee focused cocktail and also some beer from local brewery. We have about 15 tables, and we're looking at seating about 25 chairs. And it will be music that is going to be played on a Sonos. Right now, we don't have any outdoor seating or so, but we're planning, if everything works well with training and all, we might apply for open restaurant to occupy the street seating for the future.
Wait, can you repeat that?
If everything works well with training on our end, we might look into the open restaurant application where we can apply for street seating.
Couple of questions. You have other locations, correct?
That's correct.
Do any of those have liquor licenses?
As of now, none. And our location in Brooklyn is in the middle of applying. We have passed community board meeting and we're in the middle of the SLA application.
And did the community board recommend approval?
Yes, it's approved.
And that was for a full liquor license?
Full liquor license.
On your STIP form, when we asked about sidewalk obstructions, you said you had a compliant sidewalk sign. Can you tell me what that is?
Right. So to my understanding, we're not allowed to be telling people on a sidewalk that we are serving alcohol. But because of the situation right now, we have a scaffolding and we couldn't install our signage. So we have the A sandwich board sign, and we attach the poster over there just to tell people we have coffee and sandwiches and we're a coffee shop. So that's the compliant signage that we were seeing.
Our concern was actually not about advertising liquor, but about having the sidewalk cluttered up. I'll leave this to Christine to discuss.
I'll take it over from there. So I have two questions.
Just to remind everyone, this used to be a Fika location, and they had a beer and wine license. So it was already licensed to some degree, but this applicant wants a full liquor license.
And Fika also was a coffee. Was Fika?
Yes. Coffee, pastry.
They were Swedish, Norwegian.
Yeah. And we have, just to summarize while I'm talking, we got one email from a community board member saying that there are already 4 licensed bars and restaurants on this block. They're concerned that this is a backdoor to opening a full bar, and they think the block is getting oversaturated.
Yeah. So I have 2 questions. One question is, you say you are going to have a vestibule, a storm enclosure?
One more time.
You said, it says, will applicant use a storm enclosure? And you said yes. The storm enclosure are those large plastic, enclosure which are at the door of the restaurants.
Oh, I don't think so. Possibly on the application I might have missed it, but it's just gonna be 2 doors and then open up and then we just go in.
Okay, so we'll change that and you'll stipulate you won't have an enclosure, right?
Enclosure, as in
storm enclosure, it's called.
Vestibule, form enclosure.
Plastic.
Some restaurants in the winter put something
put up around the doors.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's just going to be a door. So that's definitely a mistake on mine.
All right. And then the second thing is that this discussion about the sidewalk sign, where is your sidewalk sign right now? It's outside.
Yes, it is outside. So our door opens up and then it is right by the door, and we definitely have more than 8 feet of space for people to walk.
Right, but that's not the rule, is that it should be against the wall.
I see.
Okay, so if you could specify, stipulate to that, that would be helpful.
No problem. We can definitely move that back to the wall.
Right.
And as you probably heard, would you agree that if you have any outdoor seating, you won't have any music there?
Definitely, no music.
And no sidewalk cafe if it's in the street, right?
Yes, no sidewalk cafe as well.
Right.
So
no sitting on the sidewalk at the same time as you are sitting in the street. That's what we mean.
That's correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other from the committee have a comment, question?
Actually, I do. I just want to run this by the rest of the committee. They're opening from pretty much 7 to 10 p.m. 7 a.m., even with background music, the building's residential. How would you all feel about, a business starting at 7 a.m. on music at 7 a.m. at Saturday or Sunday? Would it be not more respectful to the people in the building to maybe start at like 8 or 9 Monday through Friday, and on weekends maybe like 9 or 10? I mean, what does everyone else think about this?
Well, I think that's a good point. The question is that establishment isolated from the floor above? what's the level of music installation between the store and the second floor?
So we're at the base of the residential area, but our music is really mellow. We play cafe music. On weekday, we open at 7, so music will be on by 7. But on weekend, we're actually thinking about opening at 8 o'clock. So instead of 7 a.m., it's going to be 8 a.m. I'm happy to see what we can do with the music, but in a coffee shop setting, ambiance is really important. So we won't be playing anything that is loud and booming. So usually it's just more like bossa nova, jazz, and it wouldn't be too loud. And we always have our doors closed as well.
And the
Thank you for the answer. I appreciate.
The speakers are the same that were installed before. Who installed the speakers?
It's us. So we don't have any ceiling speaker or anything. Right now, what we have right now is just one Sonos speaker on the wall, and that is like good enough to surround the whole space. We also try to encourage conversation. So it's a space where we want to be engaging with the customers as well. So anything that's way too loud is actually not good for us.
Okay.
Inga, you wanted to say something? And then
Yeah, I wanted to know who made the complaints from the community, because I am concerned it's a residential building and there are a lot of bars on this street.
It was
So
just
I
one,
know-
it was an individual community member, one email.
Oh, just one, it wasn't a group, okay.
It wasn't a block association.
And did they reach out to everyone in the building? Did people actually get back to them? I know they reached out, but did they actually speak to residents?
We just opened up about 2 weeks ago. So far, we've been seeing people who comes in and asks us how we doing and then what are we planning to do. So we're not like a bar. We're actually still trying to be more of a coffee shop, and we're actually doing just coffee concentrate, like more coffee themed cocktail. So we're happy to talk to more people and all that, but essentially our goal is just to be able to nurture part of our barista who's going to be implementing some creative drinks from using coffee and cocktail, so that I think that will be something that we are willing to work with the residents if that's anything, but definitely not bar, no shots. It's more like coming in and hey, I want to try this drink that is a Paloma or like a dirty Arnold Palmer, where we're doing an Arnold Palmer with like espresso, something like that.
Okay.
Gary?
Rob, to get back to your comment, the previous applicant, Fika, according to that form, opened at 6:30, and at least the community board never heard of any problems. So
I was just researching that as well. Thank you, Frank. Yeah, good point. Thank you.
That is what I was going to say as well. Thank you.
You were aware of that, Carrie?
Well, I was going to say that because it was a coffee shop already, I assumed that there was music, and I was going to, inquire about whether there were complaints. So,
Good.
yeah.
Okay. Any other committee people? Comments, questions? That's a no from you, Twee? I see you shaking your head. Okay. Anybody from the community, Nellie?
No, no one.
Like to make a motion.
Okay, again, let me just summarize these.
Yes.
And Soom, let me know if there are any problems. You won't have a no storm enclosure. Any A-frame signs have to lean against the building. No music in any outdoor space. If you have outdoor seating, it will only be in the roadway, not on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed?
Oh, and
Aye.
the vestibule should be fixed in the form.
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna work on that.
Any abstaining, present, not eligible. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Item 6, Times Square 46 Restaurant Corp., 328, 330 West 46th Street.
Hi.
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 Hi. Is your representative in the public chat? Mr. Malta, is Irene O'Halloran with you?
Hold on, she's on the phone right now. Hi,
Yeah,
are
we
we-
should move her into the meeting.
chat?
We should move her into the meeting.
Tell him I'm not your lawyer. No, I'll do it myself, it's fine. I'm on the phone with you. Okay, she's on the phone with me, but I'm fine. I'll answer my own questions, yeah. Thank you.
Cost less.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you like to just give us a little summary of the operation?
Sure. So we're on Restaurant Row, and basically I had Puttanesca, which was on 9th Avenue, 56th Street, and this will be Puttanesca again. So it's going to be, the menu is going to be crowd pleasers. The music is going to be Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. It's going to be recorded music, nothing loud. Background music. Background music, yes. It's going to be a white tablecloth operation. And standard Italian crowd pleasers.
Are you moving Puttanesca from 9th Avenue, or is this a second location?
No. Okay, so I was with you guys, I think, a year and a half ago. I got approved for a Puttanesca downtown, which was 202 8th Avenue. Unfortunately, I was not able to open it. I was ready to open it in mid-March. And unfortunately, I can't open it right now until that thing gets healthy. So I have an opportunity to do this place here on 46th Street now, which would be the same, like, you know, Puttanesca, which was on 56th Street and 9th Avenue from 1995 to, I believe, 2016. Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you about the closing hours? Because, so this was the Brazil space, right?
Exactly.
So their liquor license went till 12:30, and looking at your Puttanesca 9th Avenue form, that one only goes till 10 p.m. Is there some reason you need to be open till 2 a.m. here?
It's not that I need to, I just wanted to be able to, you know, utilize as much, maximize as much as I could after theater. If I could get some people after theater, you know, it would be beneficial to me. You know, that's the
other thing that confused me is that you say the certificate of occupancy is 120 people, and the Brazil, when they filed with us, said the C of O was 200. Are you taking over less space than Brazil had?
The way I see it is 120, which was divided between 2 rooms, 60 and 60. If we could, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I just don't know how they got up to 200.
I don't know.
Is there that, your pictures make it look like there's a back terrace?
Back room, which is totally enclosed.
And you're keeping that?
Yes, we're keeping that.
Okay.
That's part of the occupancy that I just stated.
Say we're not changing anything at all.
You know,
Okay.
basically not changing anything at all. It's just, you know.
Okay. Nellie, we got a late email from a community member, but she's here as an attendee. So if she wants to speak, we'll let her speak. But otherwise, I'll summarize the email.
Okay.
So there's nothing outside. So.
And Christine, there's not a storm enclosure issue because their door.
It's inside, right? I know. I got it.
Is there another question coming from you,
Well, there is another question, which is, so obviously you are going to be taking advantage of 46th Street to put your tables and chairs outside, right?
No, I don't plan on reopening until Broadway comes back. So no Broadway.
No, but even then, it's going to be permanent. So the question is, at that point, will you be putting?
They allow me to within, you know, the law. I would do just the outside, but I'd be content at this point to
right
inside.
But my point is that once you put the tables and chairs in the street, we want to make sure you are not putting any music there.
No, absolutely
right?
not. Absolutely.
And that no tables and chairs are put on the sidewalk, which
no, we'll not do that.
Right.
Okay, additional questions from committee members? Nellie?
I have two people with their hands raised. I'm going to go in the order that I saw the hands go up.
That's
The
the way to
first
do it.
person is, hold on. Christian? Hello?
Here it is.
Is he muted?
No.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
now.
Can you hear me now?
Now.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. I was actually I apologize for not getting the email out. I actually wrote down a couple of questions and I didn't know if it was preferential if I cut and pasted them here or if I said them out.
Go ahead and speak.
All right, great. So I live right behind that. I actually, like, if I look out my window, I see the rear of that building. And I wanted to address some concerns that we had with the previous restaurant, and I wanted to just, discuss them and see what would happen. Even though the back is technically closed, it's not a brick and mortar back. It's like a plexiglass. And the previous restaurant sometimes had music that would escape through the rear door that's in the kitchen, or that the bass music was so loud that it would permeate into the apartments. A lot of times the previous restaurant used to keep the rear door open because of airflow, and thus the music would leave. And although the application states that there will not be a DJ, they state that there will also be private events, and sometimes those private events have DJs or live music, and we would like to know how that would be addressed. Second thing is that late night workers, usually after the closing of the restaurant, threw out garbage and did a lot of work in the back in the evening hours of like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And then that would wake us up. And that's another thing I'd like to see how it's addressed. And they state that there's no acoustical report from a certified sound engineer that's on the application. And I wanted to know if that was actually going to happen.
Okay. So Christian, when they say, what they say about music applies to private parties and everything else. So if they are agreeing with us to only have a DJ, no one else can have live music. I mean, only have background music. No one else can come in under their liquor license and have a private event with live music or DJ. So that should not be a problem. I hear you about the sort of greenhouse thing back there. Would it help if they agreed to keep the rear door closed, whenever there were patrons in the restaurant, and also not to, let anyone, go through that door after, I don't know, after they close?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to be good neighbors. We want to be there for a while. So whatever we have to do to comply, we will. And if it requires that. And the other thing is that in the restaurant itself, I want to contain up front as much as possible. And the back is like maybe during the rush hour. So I think most of our business will be done in the front.
Yeah.
There was also the issue was raised by Christian about employees, almost like after hours, hanging.
Yes, I will, like I said, I want to be a good neighbor there. We comply to that, yes.
Inga.
Well,
I would say that the back door to the yard, no employees or other people should be able to go out there after midnight. I mean, if they get a 2 o'clock license, you don't want them out there at 1 in the morning. You want to stop it at 11 or midnight. No one should be going into the backyard. So you should tell your employees, no backyard, no opening the back door after a certain time, because 11 or 12, after that, it's ridiculous.
Agreed, yes.
To wake people up.
Absolutely.
Right.
I have a question is, where is your how is the garbage done? Because it seems that the garbage is stored or staged in the back.
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten into that, but
Right.
whatever we have to do to comply, we will. I don't know how everybody else does on 46th Street.
Right.
I haven't crossed that bridge yet, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Nellie, why don't we
I
hear?
got a question real quick. Out front, I'm looking at the pictures, and it looks like there's actually spacing for seating. So you're saying you're not going to utilize that space at all out front?
I was aware that there was like 5 tables outside,
Not using it.
but we're not going to use that. So, I mean.
Is that their own
we sort of
recessed
kind of
little
put that
garden?
down
It's
is one of the stipulations that it's not going to be used then?
Well, Rob, those are on private property. It's
Right.
No, I don't want to do that on paper. I mean, we're going to try to comply as much as possible. We're not going to be in the streets. It's going to be on the property. It's like 2 steps down, and if I have 4 or 5 tables, that would only just bring people in. We don't want to have any music there.
I guess what I'm getting to is, seeing how it is out front, it is part of the building front, would you be willing on having it closer slightly earlier than your 2 a.m. close time?
You know what? I would like to contain the crowd as much as possible inside in the main dining room, because it's a healthier energy. When you disperse the people, you lose the energy. So the main attraction would be the main dining room.
But let me clarify. It seems that there is maybe some confusion. There is no application here to use the front outside, right? This is not covered by the application, right?
You don't need to apply for a license if you don't use the sidewalk. We're not using the sidewalk.
Yeah, but I mean, in the stipulation form, we are asking some answers about the outside space, and you have not answered any of that. So my assumption was that there would be no use of the outside space in the front. That's why I'm saying that. I mean, I'm not clear whether there is or there is not.
5 tables, if you wish not to put anything there, that's fine. But you know what? I'm trying to do as much as possible.
No. I just want to make sure we are all playing with the same deck of cards. You know?
Blessing that if I needed those tables, yes, I can have them.
So we should put some tips there.
Okay.
Right.
So Irene and Mr. Malta, there's a page on the STIP form, page 5, that has to do with outdoor space other than sidewalk cafes. So you need to fill that page out, and that asks you if you'll close that space by 10 o'clock on weekdays and 11 p.m. on weekends. And I assume you'll agree to that?
Yes.
All right. So if you would ask your representative to fill out that page, and then also on page 2, there's a chart that asks how much seating you have inside and how much you have outside. And currently the form for outside says, not applicable. So if you could correct page 2 as well.
Yeah, Irene?
Yes.
You got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't we hear from the other community?
Somebody else from the community who wanted to say something?
Yes, I have one more person. Grace?
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Grace, we got your email, but since you're here in person, I assume you'll address it and I don't have to summarize it.
Thank you so much. I think it's mostly because living in the back, like what I think Christian said, we face that entire, that especially 228 and 330. I mean, I extend even more. Sangria 46, as an example, is right on my basically eye level. So with all understanding, Mr. Malta, what you're trying to do, because obviously it's nice to have restaurants back and everybody happy and healthy. My concern is, again, the outback, the noise. Some of the things that were said kind of went in and out. So I just want to make sure, if I may, that I understand regarding the terrace in the back that has an enclosure. Are you saying that that would be enclosed all the time, or like Sangria 46, it would open and close?
No, it would be enclosed all the time.
And then I also understand that there's actually no DJ or live music coming.
No DJ, no, just background music.
Okay, that does help a great deal. When are you scheduled to open?
if I had a crystal ball, I would say as soon as Broadway gets back, because it's not going to be productive to open up until some sort of Broadway shows come back.
Right.
We
And
could do,
Broadway
I
has
mean,
announced it's not open.
25%. If I have 120, that's it's around 30, 40 people, maybe, you know.
But when you announce that they're not opening at least until probably a year from now.
I want to be ready as soon as Broadway gets on, so I'll be able to open the doors.
So I guess my main concerns have been answered, other than, I'd just like, the board to also understand too. It's just, it's kind of gotten out of control on 46th Street. I mean, that's just the truth. And many of these businesses go well past the 12 o'clock on weekend hours, as what he was saying, with people out back after 1 a.m. cleaning or whatever. It's so noisy. I can't even describe to you. So it's my urgent concern that it will be something
We're going to cater to the Broadway crowd. So when Broadway's over, that's over. And like I said, I want to use the main room as much as possible, contain the energy and the noise level.
And so it's 2 a.m., not 4 a.m. I thought the application.
No. That's,
okay.
If I can keep it on to 2, that would be nice. If I get some of the crew or the Broadway gypsies from the shows, that would be nice. Whatever I can do to maximize my survival there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that beats 4. That's better than 4 a.m.
And Grace, part of the issue here is so many of those places on 46th Street have been there forever, and have 4 a.m. licenses going back decades. And we can only try to pare things back as people, come to get, as is happening here, new operators come in. And it's important to hear from people in the neighborhood. So it's great. It's great that you came today, because often we do not hear from we don't hear a lot of complaints about 46th Street. So it's good to know that there are issues.
Well, I'm very grateful that you're listening, because it's, I'd hate to have to leave a building I've lived in for over 30 years, but I'm definitely at that point. And it's just, it's a little much. I mean, I'm not young enough to be out every single night and partying it up. I mean, there's even through COVID. But I really want to be respectful of the city opening, and I care about that deeply. There are times even a noise machine, or like I have 5, do not cover the sound, especially live music. When it was there before with O'Flaherty's, it was, it's just really challenging. So I'm grateful for you to have heard me, and Mr. Malta also, hopefully this will work out.
Right.
Thank you.
And Grace, if you go to the Community Board 4 website, there's what's called the nuisance reporting protocol that, tells you how to complain about noise and other issues to various agencies. So, you can't really complain about the entire block, but if there's a particular place that is, becoming a nuisance, you should, use that information and start filing reports with 311 and the SLA, and, ultimately things add up, and we try to help people resolve things.
Well, I do appreciate it. Thank you. That's good knowledge to have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Grace.
So Frank, can you recap the steps?
Yes.
Sure. They're going to correct pages 2 and 5 of the STIP form to show that there are some outdoor seats within the property line, not on the sidewalk. And those seats will be closed and vacated no later than 10 p.m. Weekdays, 11 p.m. on weekends. There's recorded music only. There'll be no music in any outdoor space. If they choose to utilize outdoor space other than the front yard, the private property, that seating will only be on the roadway, not on the sidewalk. Doors to the rear yard will be kept closed at all times, and in particular, won't be open after 11 p.m. by anyone, including staff, and no one, if there's any unenclosed rear yard, no one will be there out there after 11 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining, present not eligible. Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, item 7, 331 West 51st Street.
Frank.
How you doing?
Irene.
Give me one second. Yeah.
Oh,
How you doing?
Oh, well, can
Can you hear me?
Who is,
We can hear you.
Frank.
Michael, they know me. Introduce yourself.
How you doing, everybody?
This is Michael Mastro, everybody. How are you?
Michael.
So,
Can you,
you making the presentation?
can you guys hear? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Michael is
How about
planning to
now?
open up. I'm sorry. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you can start. Yeah, because I don't know why
Your mic. Your mic. Bert, should I start?
Go ahead.
Michael's taking over the old spoon-fed space on 51st Street. He's opening an Italian restaurant with his family members. The hours are 11 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. I'm going to be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I see that when you met with the HK 4954, you agreed that there be no sidewalk cafe, that there be no amplified music, no open windows or doors. Mike?
Michael, is that correct? We can't hear you.
Mike,
So every time I go to my video, it mutes me back. If someone could unmute me, that would be.
You're on mute.
You're good.
Am I still good?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike. Good to meet you. Sorry, what'd you say, sir? I repeat the question, please.
Sorry,
You
Bert.
met with the 4954 Block Association, Block Alliance. with
Yes,
Steve,
that's correct.
And you agreed to some stipulations?
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about that? I have that, Steve wrote us that you agreed to no sidewalk cafe, no amplified music, open windows, open door, anything else?
Yeah. That was just about it. Eileen, the next door neighbor that I happened to get to know while I was doing a renovation in the building for the landlord, she just, she brought up a couple of things at the meeting, and I was glad to oblige the requests.
Michael, could you tell us a little bit about your background in the restaurant industry, if any? Because I know you're a contractor too, right?
Yeah, I own a successful construction company in the city, and when I was a kid, I started off in the deli and catering, and then I moved up to being in a bar restaurant from where I grew up, a bouncer there, and kind of like a manager. And then I came into the city, worked around a couple of places, and I found my way into property management, the real estate side of my life, and I saw a good opportunity with the landlord that I got to know in this situation.
So have you owned or managed a restaurant before?
Yes.
Which one is this? Bar Sardine?
Yes, Bar Sardine, and along with that, before that, I was at Poor House in Nyack, New York. If you guys know the Rockland County area.
And are you the person that's sort of going to be there, chiefly when it's open, or I mean, how does that work with your construction work, or will you have other people with day-to-day responsibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Like a construction company, there's foremen and there's managers in restaurants. So I'm going to have a manager staff and a head chef and like any other business, just the pyramid of having a successful, restaurant.
And will you be present there at time?
Of course.
How
What was that, Christine?
How much of your week are you going to spend there?
I see myself stopping there at least 3-4 times a week. I'm going to be there to talk to my family. I'm going to be there to talk to the managers. I'm probably going to be there at night, and I'll be there entertaining clients. but I'm going to make sure that my restaurant hopefully makes money in these unprecedented times and enhance the community with good Italian food and a good crowd.
Michael, could you speak a little bit about your family?
Well, my cousin has been a executive chef for Hilton Corporate for the past decade, and I've worked in the food business for a long time, and we know it makes people happy, and it definitely also makes money. So I kind of stumbled on this interesting opportunity through getting to know the landlord, and
Okay, Michael.
yeah.
So either you or your cousin's going to be there regularly?
Yes, and or our manager. Yes.
So, Frank and Michael, when Southern Hospitality closed, there were a lot of reports that a problematic operator in our district and one that owned another place down the street, a guy named Bessem Kukaj, was actually operating illegally out of this location. Does Kukaj have any connection whatsoever with Mr. Mastro or this operation or the ownership company?
Michael, that's your question.
No.
So you would stipulate, because, okay, I'll be upfront about this. There have been reports that Mr. Kukaj has been seen both at this address and one down the street that we're going to hear next, 319 West 51st Street. So is that not the case?
Recently, Frank?
Yeah.
Recently.
This, like today.
No,
I was approached by some person who I think met with your community board in January or February. Apparently he was a front for this man. He came to me and told me that the community board approved him and we didn't have to notify the community board, we should just file the application immediately. So I'm 64 years old and I'm doing this for 40 years. I reached out to Nellie, who told me that you had actually disapproved this application. I believe this person was working for Bessem.
Okay, so in other situations, we've had people agree to this stip. Can you guys let me know if these two are okay? The former operator at this location, Bessem Kukaj, will have no involvement whatsoever, financial or otherwise, in applicant's operations, whether as owner, management, manager, consultant, or employee. And Bessem Kukaj has no involvement or connection with the corporate applicant, which I guess is 331 West 51st Restaurant, Inc. Will you folks stipulate to that?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next issue is we got a very troubling email just a couple hours ago from, I guess, Eileen, who you were speaking about. She said your construction, well, the construction workers at this location put 10 or so bags of heavy garbage right in front of her building yesterday afternoon. I put the bags back in front of their door and off the street. There was no one at 331, so I went over to Maria Pia, where Bessem Kukaj was supervising their interior work. He did not respond to me. Today, they again put 5 bags of garbage in front of my building. When I tossed them back on their front space, a worker came out and said he didn't know they couldn't put garbage in front of another's property. All the garbage is now on the sidewalk in front of 331. I don't think they have a private carter. About 2 weeks ago, their commercial garbage was picked up by sanitation. I just want to let you know because these people do not seem responsible. So what's happening?
Going to make sure all the garbage is cleaned up and Eileen doesn't have that issue ever again.
But how did it happen in the first place?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
A
like
mistake.
there's here.
A mistake by the workman.
No.
A mistake by the workman, but it seems like purposely letting the public sanitation department pick up the garbage, which they shouldn't be picking up since it's commercial garbage.
Is it construction debris? Do we know that?
Well, I didn't look in the bags.
There was, at the restaurant that I'm hoping to take over, it there was a lot of stuff in there, and it costs a lot of money to cart garbage away. And having a construction company and making this investment into the restaurant, definitely trying to save costs where we can. And if it's rubbish that can be picked up by the city, I made that call. It didn't mean to be placed in front of Eileen's property at all. But I did make the decision that, the rubbish that isn't, any kind of sheetrock or anything that would require permits or work like that. It was mostly rubbish, and I apologize, and it won't happen again to the board and the community. And I'll apologize to Eileen personally. I spoke to her today.
Are you doing the construction work at 319 West 51st as well?
No.
Okay, okay.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, thank you. Really.
Much appreciated there.
Just to finish, so Eileen also sent an earlier email concerned about this is a 2-floor space, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And I don't think unfortunately, the prior applicant wasn't successful enough, I think, to use the second floor often. But before that, there was a bar there that was really a nuisance. What are your plans for the upper floor? Is it the same?
Dining room.
Or?
It's a dining room.
Okay, so it's still only no stage, no performance?
No, it's a dining room with a service bar.
And only background music?
Only background music.
Okay.
So midnight, 7 days a week.
Same as the first floor.
Oh, wait, I thought it was 11 at midnight.
No, from 11 to midnight.
What?
11 a.m. to midnight.
From 11 to midnight, which is good. I mean, it's fun.
I'm just checking Steve Belita's email. Someone else can go ahead.
Question, the tables that are within the building line that are still outside, you've got them listed here. If you use them, will you agree to have them closed by 10?
Yeah, they said that.
Okay, thank you. I missed that.
It's in the
Sorry.
second, it's in page 5.
I'm looking at, I'm looking at their thing, and I don't know what page it is, but it has inside, outside, and then above it has got music, and that's why I was looking. But anyway, okay, thank you.
Right.
Any other committee members?
I have a question. Same question is: are you going to use open street dining in the on the parking lane?
We didn't discuss open streets. I didn't know it was definitely going to be permanent, Christine. We had planned. The hope was by the time we opened, we wouldn't have a COVID situation.
Yeah.
But if we do, and if it is permanent, then we would like to use it.
Okay. So the same stipulation you have heard before, which is, it's in the parking lane, not on the sidewalk, and no music whatsoever.
That's a narrow residential street. I have no problem with that.
Inga?
I have the same thing. It's my, if you're going to use the street, open street, which is good, just make sure the sidewalks are kept completely open. No signs, no stuff.
Okay. Right.
Just happy to use the streets, keep the sidewalks completely open.
Mike, you good with that?
100%, whatever the community board suggests, I'm going to be good with.
Thank you.
Don't say things like that.
Maybe you should listen to your lawyer.
That's a good suggestion to keep me out of trouble.
Okay.
Any other
committee?
Yeah, wait a second. I'm trying to find Steve's other email.
Meanwhile, Nellie, do you have anybody from the community with a hand raised?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess the question.
I have 11 a.m. to 12 is fine with me.
Yeah.
So the question, well, let me go through the steps and then we can figure out how to deal with the Bessem issue. You'll have those stips I read about Bessem having no connection with this, right? You're okay with
Can I stop you for a second, Frank? Was Bessem involved with the last operation?
there were multiple community reports that he was operating there illegally.
In
after
Spoonfed?
the restaurant closed.
In Spoonfed?
Yeah. And that he was bringing stuff over from Maria Pia. He was sending overflow business there.
I thought he was in the place before Spoonfed.
No. Spoonfed closed. He was still in Maria Pia before he got closed down in Maria Pia. He carried liquor back and forth between Spoonfed and Maria Pia. He sent overflow customers there. I have little doubt that happened because we heard about it. I didn't see it personally, but we heard multiple community reports at the time. And nothing more happened because he was closed down in Maria Pia shortly thereafter.
Okay.
And we're getting reports now that people have seen him at both of these locations. So we just have to be cautious here. And the SLA has asked us to alert them whenever anyone tries to move into any of these spaces so they can investigate and make sure there's no Bessem connection.
Okay.
So we'll have those two stipulations. Background music only. If you use any open streets or open sidewalks, you will only put the seating on the roadway and not on the sidewalk. And you'll have no music whatsoever in any outdoor space.
Motion to approve.
Wait. We haven't
A
decided.
little too fast, Inga.
Hold your horses.
He paused too long.
Okay. So Michael, Steve Belita at 4953 sent us an email saying you agreed with them to the hours of 11 a.m., 11 p.m., Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday to 12.
I'm sorry, who said that?
Steve Belita of the 4953 Block Association.
You met with more than one block association, Mike?
A Block Alliance. They cover all 4 blocks.
Did you agree to cut the hours?
A lot has gone on since that meeting. I've been pretty open to any and all suggestions from the Block Association and the board members on this call. I don't remember exactly that detail.
That's too early to shut down. That's crazy.
It is.
Okay. Well, Steve also said you agreed to soundproof the second floor due to its proximity to residential units.
I know I didn't definitely agree to soundproof the entire second floor. I mentioned to Steve and Eileen, who were on the call, that I would only be having background music and I would be keeping the speakers away from the window. I don't believe that I agreed to soundproofing the word for word soundproofing the entire second floor.
I mean, Nellie, Steve's not on the call, is he?
No.
Okay. I'm only going by his email, and this is what he said. He, meaning Mr. Mastro, also agreed to soundproofing the second floor due to its proximity to residential units. Our concern is that this is a residential area which already has more than 3 liquor licenses in the block.
Were there complaints with the prior operation? Noise complaints?
Not the immediate prior one, but the one before that.
One before that was a bar though, right?
Yeah. You know, I mean, Steve is one of our more reliable.
I know Steve well. Michael, you're a contractor. Would it be a big deal to soundproof it?
It wouldn't. The only reason why it would be a big deal is because you have exposed brick, and it's not going to look tasteful to put acoustical lining.
Is it exposed brick and natural soundproof?
Yeah, and there's probably 4 courses of brick between the.
What about doing the ceiling?
I would not mind adding. I wouldn't mind adding another.
Just do it. It's not going to be worth the complaints down the road, Mike.
Yeah,
Wool?
if we need to use the special soundproofing glue and put up another layer of sheetrock on the ceiling, and do construction on the ceiling, we can definitely do that to help prevent the noise for Eileen and any other neighbor that has ever complained. But we're not going to have loud music. It's background music, and 10, 11, 12 o'clock, we're having people eating, not a bunch of kids rolling out of wherever and coming to make noise. It's not that kind of establishment.
I think doing the ceiling would be a good reasonable compromise.
Michael, let me tell you what's bothering me. I mean, we've now heard things from, two community members we know pretty well that are sort of complaining about things you did and are sort of contradicting things you've told us. They've said you've told them differently. I mean, Eileen in particular has sent us, two, you seem to be saying you're getting along with her, and she's sending us emails, that she has all these garbage problems, that she's worried about the noise. The fact is that the garbage, I'm just concerned that there's some real lack of communication going on here.
Well, I spoke to Eileen today, and I've spoken to her probably 25 times face to face over this entire summer. We've always been super cordial and friendly. I'm sure that the writing in the email is probably coming off negative, Frank, and like me and her have a problem, but we don't. I'm definitely going to address the noise concern with spending extra money and doing extra construction to hopefully satisfy an issue that hasn't come up with me yet, just as a preventative measure. And in regards to the garbage, taking total responsibility will not happen again.
Okay. So Frank, what sort of stip do you want on the second floor soundproofing? I mean, how would, or Michael, how would you phrase it?
I'd phrase it that we would, I'd go as far as being detailed and saying we would use a soundproofing glue that I've used before in soundproofing other apartments, which is expensive, and using a soundproofing sheetrock, which is also more expensive than traditional construction.
On the ceiling, is that where it goes?
Yes.
Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
Just on the soundproofing glue and the sheetrock, that is adhered right to the ceiling that's there already, the sheetrock that's currently there, correct?
That's correct.
But if you leave a space, if you use, for example, wool insulation, which is soundproof and fireproof, and then, couple inches with the next layer of sheetrock, isn't that a better soundproof because there's space in between?
The applications that I've used and the research I've done, the glue works really well along with these rubber, it's going to be put around any fixture or any kind of breach through where any lighting is coming through. So between the rubber couplings, if you will, and the glue and the soundproof sheetrock, it's worked well for me on many projects. I haven't used that application. I'm not opposed to it.
Okay, just curious what the difference is. Okay.
So Inga, are you okay with sticking with what he proposed?
Yeah, I thought that more space, sort of room within a box gives you more soundproofing, but maybe right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But if you say that this other way works, then that's fine.
A space gap actually is good because it's insulation as well as it stops sound.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the wool insulation is a soundproofing, and then the sheetrock is another soundproofing, and then you've got at least maybe 4 inches. I don't know.
I think this might, with all due respect, I think this might be more of a problem if the restaurant before had posed a problem, a noise problem. We're doing the restaurant also.
Right.
I understand there was a bar in the prior incarnation.
Frank, I went to the previous restaurant a lot, and
Spoon-fed?
Yeah, what?
Spoon
It's,
fed.
yeah, and the second floor was never in use anytime I was there.
Right.
We're hoping we don't have that.
I know, but I'm saying I'm not sure we can say that the lack of, the lack of noise had, because I don't think they ever had anyone.
Well, just as long as Michael is aware that it needs to be well soundproof, because he doesn't want to come back and have to do it again. So whatever he uses is up to him, I guess. He's the contractor.
I'm totally aware of that. I was raised by 4 women. You asked me something once, I'm doing it. I don't want to hear about it again.
All right, so in addition to the other steps I read, we'll say that the applicant agrees to soundproof second floor space using soundproof glue and sheetrock on ceiling.
Right.
All right, and I suggest we do what we did with all the other Bessem places.
Same thing.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Bert. And tell the SLA that, we do not have the ability to investigate that Bessem, there had been reported connections with Bessem Cusack to this space. We do not have the ability to investigate and, would recommend denial unless they can confirm that Bessem has no connection. And if they confirm that, we recommend approval with these stipulations.
I think you may have said that backwards, Frank.
I think he said it.
He said it fine.
Recommend denial unless
the SLA
then determines that there's no Bessem.
Then it would be if the SLA determines, right?
That there's no connection. We want them to investigate.
Because we have
then you
no
would
ability to
approve
investigate.
if the
No,
SLA
because
said
always-
that Bessem is not involved.
No, Frank, we are always denying.
Yeah.
Unless.
No, we're denying in
So
order.
the denying is an approval.
So, okay, but let me understand. You're going to deny unless we agree to the steps and the SLA finds that Bessem's not involved.
No, no, we want this to get up to the 3 commissioners because it's what they asked us to do. In order for that to happen, we have to deny. So we are denying because we can't determine that Bessem isn't involved. If they determine that, then we are okay with it as long as the stipulations are in effect.
Why does the 3 commissioners have to do that? Not that I care that much, except you're adding like 3 months to the approval time.
I have a way better question. Sorry to cut you off, boss. What can I do to prove that I'm in connection with the landlord and not this guy that you're talking about? What do I have to do as an applicant to prove to the board right here, right now, that I'm trying to open up a business to feed my family and enhance the community because I stumbled upon a good deal where I was doing a construction project?
So who are you doing the construction project for? The landlord?
Upstairs, I was renovating one of his apartments. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And downstairs is obviously how I'm trying to feed my family. And I'm not for alcoholism, but I'm for a good time and reasonable drinking. And that definitely helps my operation feed my family in these crazy times. Right. I'm definitely taking a risk here, but I would definitely ask the board to hopefully make a motion to approve me instead of sending me up the road for nothing that I did wrong.
Well, the full board, by putting a full board approval on, you're adding 3 months to an approval time. That's already 6 months. So, I mean,
so let me
the SI has to do its due diligence, whether it's the commissioners or investigations, right?
Let me ask a question. What is the involvement of what's his name, Bessemir or whatever his name is, with this place?
There is none. I don't even know the guy.
No, wait, Michael. I'm talking to Frank Oluzubiak, our co-chair.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so Bessem had never had a restaurant in this place. He has Maria Pia about 5 doors down.
Right.
When Spoonfed closed, we started getting reports that Bessem had reached a deal with the landlord to use the Spoonfed place and was supplying it with liquor from Maria Pia. He was sending overflow clients down there. And we heard those reports from several community members. Before anything could happen, the SLA closed down Maria Pia, which had the effect of closing down anything that was going on at Spoonfed. But he's never had an official connection with this address.
So what about we put in our letter just that, Bessemer never had a connection. However, we were aware that some customers and some activity was taking place there in his
I wouldn't even say we were aware. We would say there were community
report, right? And you can say they were report that he was, even though he didn't have a license, there were activity related to in connection with Maria Pia here, and you don't put in the stipulation that we deny unless they go to the 3, but you just put that we are concerned about that.
And do it just as a regular deny unless.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we don't want to, it's hard enough for restaurants.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be overly suspicious here, but the fact that both this location and Maria Pia before us again in the same month, but I guess, yeah, I mean, because Michael will agree to those steps.
Wait, Frank, can I interrupt you for 1 second? They're both there. Michael's case was on the September calendar. We were ready to go. At the request of the Block Association, we pulled it off to give him the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now by coincidence, they're both in the same calendar.
Yeah.
And it looks suspicious.
Yeah. So given that Michael will agree to
Thanks for refreshing our memory, Frank.
Given that Michael will agree to the steps about no Bessem connection, and we will flag this in a cover letter with the stip form, but I guess I'm okay doing it. If they, deny unless they determine that there's no Bessem connection and all the steps are agreed to.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's hard times for restaurants, and we don't want to give them 3 months longer.
Bert, are you okay with that?
Motion.
What, Bert?
Second.
Yeah, I'll go with the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this issue before with other disreputable operators, and we proceeded in the same way that Frank had been suggesting.
I know, but times are different, and
I hear times are different.
I tend to trust this attorney as well as being reputable.
Do you hear that, Frank?
Yeah, it's got a huge burden on me for next month.
Seriously, we've dealt with him for a long time, and I think he turns down clients that aren't as reputable.
And he has to come back again to us with other clients.
He does.
Sure, next month.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
This is, I wasn't sure if there was any resolution with the inconsistencies with the 4953 block alliance of Sunday to Wednesday, 11 to 11, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 11 to 12. That was still open, wasn't it?
I thought it sounded like people were in favor of giving them midnight.
12.
Midnight, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will follow up with Steve to try to find out what happened.
Right, since there's no one here from the Block Association right now, we can't.
And Frank, if there's some bigger issue here, I'll contact you and maybe we can iron it out before full board.
Okay. Michael came in with what I think were reasonable hours. It's a residential block. It's not.
No. I'm not talking about the hours. I'm talking about the discrepancy with what Steve seems to remember and what Michael does.
And don't forget, this is going from us to the full board. So there's time to find out if there's anything in dispute.
Reach out, Frank, if you need me.
Yeah, I just want to make sure Steve, does not feel super strongly that this be 11, and I don't see any reason he would.
Okay. So
Okay,
let's
thank you.
proceed. You want to, thank you, Tweet. Do you want to summarize? Is that possible, Frank?
Sure. There are going to be the stipulations about Bessem having no ownership or any kind of relationship with these operations or the corporate entity getting the license. The applicant will soundproof the second floor space using soundproofing glue and sheetrock on the ceiling. There'll be background music only. They're agreeing to our usual hours on the front yard space. To the extent they use something outdoor space beyond the front yard, they will only use the parking lane and not use the sidewalk. And there will be no music whatsoever in any outdoor spaces.
Can we just add one thing with restaurant trash, that it will be taken care of by the restaurant on
And
there?
in front of their restaurant, or
Yes.
or in the parking lane if you want.
Yeah.
But if we just say all garbage during construction and operation, will be kept in front of this address only.
That's
and
good.
It will be disposed of according to sanitation regulations, which means it
Perfect.
has to use a
A
cart.
commercial carter. Means
You
a
okay with
commercial
that,
carter.
Frank and Michael?
Yes.
I mean, we haven't signed the lease yet, but yes, yes.
Well, that doesn't mean you can't put the garbage. Well, wait, are you renovating
Before
it?
the cart.
Yeah, it's not our space we're renovating yet. But that's all right, we'll do it, don't worry about
Okay,
it.
where's the garbage coming from?
From the renovation upstairs.
The apartments?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were renovating the restaurant.
Well,
You haven't
that's not
started
an
the restaurant
excuse.
yet, have you,
That's
Mike?
not an excuse, though.
Mike, you haven't started the restaurant yet, have you?
Yeah, we did.
Frank,
We're clearing
I think
out a little. We're,
Oh, I
Sorry.
stand corrected.
Frank,
You
I think
started
you're
the
doing
renovation
fine.
before the lease was signed?
But this is a
Yeah, I'm-
conversation that the two of you should not have.
I think.
In front of us, right?
Hey,
Wasn't
Cool
he
with the
renovating
land.
one of the
Don't forget,
apartments?
we are
I'm
on
good.
YouTube. This is being
I'm-
recorded and it is.
I'm good with the landlord. Mike, Mike likes me. He thinks I'm a nice
all right,
guy.
we'll talk later.
I'm still going to follow Christine's motion and second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining, present not eligible? Okay, with a deep breath, good
was
luck.
something, right?
Thank
Well,
you.
well,
Good luck.
Thank you all. Please come by for, hopefully a cocktail and some Italian food.
Any idea when you're opening?
Hopefully when I get this liquor license.
Okay.
But you have to sign a lease also.
Yeah.
That's no problem. That's no problem.
Didn't tell you how
I
many
the
clients
least,
are
but
Second floor.
guys, thank you so much. Be safe. Come by, please.
Okay, take
luck.
care,
Okay,
guys.
see you next month.
Bye. Okay, last item on the agenda, 8319, right next door, West 51st Street.
How you guys doing?
Okay,
Hello.
Name's Kevin Marcel. I'm opening up Bella Valentina on 319 West 51st Street. I work across the street from the place itself. I work at the Washington Jefferson Hotel. I'm the chief engineer over there as well. I've been staying in this block for the past 7 months actually now. Any questions?
Yeah, so what's your experience in the sort of restaurant industry? Have you owned
I
or
used
one before?
to work. I'm sorry, boss. I used to be a chef at the Marriott in Rye, New York, and then pretty much I had left, and I was more dabbling into different types of careers. So I went from being a cook to being an auto mechanic to being a chief engineer. I just couldn't make up my mind really. A friend of mine was like, why not? Actually, it was my cousin who told me, why not open up a business? So he was like, why work for other people? Why not work for yourself? I was like, you know what? You're right. So I opened up. I actually have a mechanic shop, but it was my girlfriend who actually was the one who tried to say, why don't you go into food, being the fact that I like to cook a lot. So I was like, you know what? Why not?
So you've operated a business with employees.
Correct.
and this is your first restaurant?
This is my first restaurant.
Okay.
Great.
So both to committee and Kevin, so as you probably heard from the prior discussion, this is actually an official former Bessem QCAJ place, Maria Pia, where he had operated and where he was closed down from the SLA. Kevin, do you know, did QCAJ's license actually get revoked there?
Say that again?
Did the prior operator's license actually get revoked there, or?
I think it has, because I'm the one who's applying for a liquor license now. It's me going for a liquor license.
But the problem,
So I think it has.
But the problem is, we heard this from another lawyer who's trying to take over one of the places, that if a license has been revoked, you need a waiver from the SLA to get a new license within 2 years at the same place? Not anybody, not just you. Did you talk to your lawyer about that?
We haven't really spoke much about that because from what he has told me was that being fact that I'm I guess the new tenant, I guess, in that space, being the fact that this person Bessem is not there anymore. Pretty much he didn't really tell me much about it. He just told me pretty much I just have a lot of work to get done within it. But he has not told me about that though.
Okay. So Nellie at the community board office emailed your lawyer a bunch of times over the past couple weeks, and we never got any response. What are your intentions for that back room that is sort of the backyard, but it's enclosed?
The garden?
Yeah.
I wanted to do seating. Now, I understand how this block is. I know that this block has had a lot of, has between noise pollution, between cars zooming in and out. We have between people playing loud music. You have between a bunch of restaurants, between the Mexican restaurant that's right down the block towards the pizza shop that's right across from them, to vice versa, pretty much right across from me, to another one, and then to another Italian restaurant that's right there, plus on top of that, Mike's restaurant that's right there also. It is.
Now, Kevin, I had a simpler question. Are you going to keep it enclosed the way it is?
I'm going to keep it enclosed.
Okay. So,
but I wanted to use the outside. I wanted to use that little space. At least I could put at least 4 tables into that little space. That's kind of like I want to say, not a stoop, but after the sidewalk and stuff. Because I know
your garden.
In the
front yard.
In the front yard. Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the back. So
the back, I just wanted a couple of tables, but I wanted to just enclose it, but at a very limited time offer, like pretty much from a certain time to a certain time, and that's it. Compared to the rest of the work.
Enclosed. You're going to keep it enclosed.
Yes.
Because here's the problem. We've gotten a bunch of applications through these spaces over the past couple of years, and people have claimed that enclosure is illegal. Because it raises the capacity above 75, and therefore you need a public assembly permit and two exits and all this stuff. Has anyone looked into whether that back room can be legally used like that?
It can be. I just have to make sure with one other person real quick. But supposedly enough, it can be, being the fact that it's been with the property since. But I just got to make sure. I have to make sure though.
No, but the issue is not completely just the property. The issue is that it's a fire regulation.
Oh,
so if you have people in the back and you have people in the front, you don't have enough exits to satisfy the fire regulation. So it's very important that we keep your customers safe and that we have the right, exit for all the people. So that is the issue. One of the issues for this, the use of the backyard. I think there wouldn't be enough exits for everyone.
So the
fact that it's been used, or the fact that it's existed for X amount of years, doesn't make it legal. Right. It might have been illegal from the beginning.
And dangerous. Right.
So, couple things. Our district manager is working with the fire department and the department building to try to find out if this is legal or not. And then the last time we had an applicant for this space, the applicant agreed to the following. Applicant will not use the enclosed rear yard until the Department of Buildings issues a certificate of occupancy or other approval of use of the space, and will notify MCB4 of the certificate. Kevin, are you okay with that?
I'm all right with that.
Okay.
Now, Kevin, so what is the name again of the previous owner of Maria Pia? Is he part of your corporation? Are you going to have a corporation? Is he part of a corporation? Is he funding? Is he giving you any funding?
That person, I don't know Bessem. I never really met him. I know from hearing from what everybody says that he's been around so far enough. But he's not part of me. He's not part of my Kevin Empire restaurant.
Okay. So what's going on? Are renovations going on in that space now?
I'm just trying to change I was just trying to change everything out, as in I was just doing the front facade.
Okay, but you're doing that.
Yes.
Because as you might have heard, we had an email from a community member who said she went over there today and Bessem was there. Does that make any sense?
No, unless was he in the building or was he just there outside?
All I know is that she said she went over to 319 and he was there.
Because so fun up, like, because mind you, I'm even like now I'm right across the street from the property. Yesterday I was outside, but I did not see this man.
But I mean, you have not seen him in months, right?
I haven't seen him in months, actually. The only time I was.
Would you recognize him?
I know what he looks like.
Okay.
I've seen a picture of him.
All right. So will you stipulate the way the prior guy did?
Yeah.
The former operator at this location, Bessem QCAJ, will have no involvement whatsoever, financial or otherwise, in applicant's operations, whether as owner, manager, consultant, or employee. And Bessem QCAJ has no involvement with, connection to, or ownership interest in the applicant. What's the name of your company?
Kevin Empire Restaurant.
Yeah. Will you agree to those?
This is
you should hear my auto mechanic restaurant by his words.
Will you agree to those?
I do agree to it.
Hey, Frank, I got a quick question. Up front, between where the restaurant is and the space outside, on the diagram it's showing French doors. Is there any way of stipulating of having them shut so the background noise doesn't bleed into the front?
Yeah, I don't have the form in front of me. Did he fill out page 5 or 6 and agree to that already?
Except it's very difficult to read.
I'm very bad. I have the worst handwriting ever. I'm so sorry.
Right, I can't even figure. So the cross is when you the cross means that's out, and the answer is the other one, right? So, yes. For example, rear yard. Okay, so we are moving to the front yard, and it said sidewalk cafe. Will applicant be applying for sidewalk cafe now or in the future? And you said yes. Oh, because we have the front yard. Okay, and then only in liquor license include, but then you say the sidewalk cafe is not included in the liquor license. So I don't understand that.
Because
it looks like it's within the property line, but it's French doors between the restaurant and the outside.
No, I know that. I'm just saying the answers on that list are a little confusing. As applicants submitted an application, no, it's in the front yard. Okay. Will the applicant vacate by 11 p.m. and it says no. So can you help me about, am I supposed to read the column which is crossed or the column which is not crossed? It looks like all the answers are wrong.
I think the X's mean it's the one he's agreeing to.
Right.
Is that the way, Kevin?
Which page?
Page 6.
Page 6, gotcha.
No, page 6 is the Sidewalk Cafe page.
Yeah.
It's a sidewalk cafe.
Yeah, we made page 5.
Well, both. I mean, both.
Well, he doesn't have a Sidewalk Cafe.
Yeah, I don't have a sidewalk cafe. It was pretty much applying for one, but being the fact that I'm using the garden itself, not the front of it itself, that's what I was pretty much mentioning.
So could you explain, when you made a cross in the block which says yes, you meant that's what your choice is?
Which block exactly?
Go to page 5.
I'm on page 5.
You know, have you read the rear yard policy? What's your answer there?
Outdoor space without.
That's actually page 6 here.
Oh, sorry, I'm going by the number on our form, not the form, not the.
Yeah, it's the actual form, yeah.
All right, so page 6.
No, page 6 is the sidewalk cafe page, isn't it?
No, it's 5. Yeah, it's page 5 of the form. Page 5 of the form.
Maybe a different number than the.
No, that's the one.
No. So wait. So page 5 for me is outdoor items or
Yes.
other than sidewalk cafe.
Right.
Yes.
Which is what you have, right?
Correct. That's what I have.
Okay.
So right. Go ahead, Frank.
So the first question, has the applicant read MCB4 rear yard policy?
Yes.
Okay, so by putting that X, you meant yes.
Yes. I read the rooftop policy.
Okay. And so that means you said yes, you can use some outdoor space. You agree to close it by 10 and 11.
Correct.
Only seated food service.
Correct.
If you have music inside, will windows and doors be closed? You said yes.
Correct.
No standing space. You said no.
No standing. No, like, it's like saying let's say the bar that's right down the block, they have people who actually just stand. They have the tables where they just stand and sit, where they have the tables where you just stand, no chairs, no nothing. I'm not doing.
You're going to
standing
have
space.
seated patrons
I'm
only
just,
for
everything
dinner.
is seated.
Okay,
Correct.
so that,
The answer should be yes then on this one.
we'll change it to yes, that you won't allow people to stand.
Correct.
Correct, so the answer is yes. And then there'll be no music, right? You said
No music. No music outdoors.
But you mean yes, you agree there'll be no music.
Will there be no amplifier music? Oh, okay, so amplifier. That's what got me a little confused.
So
But I'm thinking,
both of those are actually yes.
gotcha.
Okay.
So we need to add something about the open doors, but the doors are on page 4 then, right? On
Right.
page 4,
Yeah.
we have, where are those questions? Because you have.
You said yes.
Building design.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said you'll close them whenever there's music played inside and after 10 and 11.
That's perfect.
Right, and he crossed yes, which is good. That's fine. I was just so confused. I mean, I think we need to make a little.
Because you know what it is. When it came to amplify, I'm thinking more like a big bass where I just have like small speakers.
No, we got it.
Well, Kevin, you're agreeing not to have any music at all outside.
Yeah, correct. I'm not doing any music at all outside.
Okay.
Right. Trust me, this block already has enough noise as it is.
Oh, please. Yeah. And then if you do open dining, open street, open dining, whatever, will you put that, if you put the tables in the street, you won't put them on the sidewalk, right?
Correct. Yeah, because I've seen that the sidewalk, we have those sidewalks, it's lucky enough to even fit 2 people already on that sidewalk.
There's nothing on those sidewalk, yeah.
No, I would never do that.
Okay. So I'm good with that. Frank, could we make a note somewhere that the X's mean, the X, I mean, it's very confusing. The X's look like they are, right?
Okay. So Bert, how do we deal with the Bessem issue on this one? Because he's had a closer connection, and we've had other applicants that we've
I
treated.
think you have to bring it up.
Oh, it has to be mentioned.
Yeah.
And stipulate no connections at all.
Right. The last applicant here, our letter was, as Christine remembers, an outright denial unless the SLA can determine there's no Bessem connection.
Right.
If they determine that, it becomes a deny unless.
Right. We should do the same thing.
Do it the same way?
Because it was one of his restaurants.
Yeah.
This was his restaurant, which is different than across the street.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's also the issue that you raised, Frank, that Kevin has to bring up with his lawyer. The issue no one is allowed, and that's the possibility that no one is allowed another liquor license in that space until 2 years passes.
unless they get a waiver from the SLA.
A waiver.
Right.
I don't think we have to stipulate to that. That's the SLA will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we just
But
have to.
that's, Kevin, you should bring that up with your lawyer.
No, I am.
Yeah, your lawyer should know this.
And as I said, you should really try to look at, well, you're agreeing to work with the DOB to figure out if the rear.
If I can use the back.
Yeah.
If it's illegal.
No,
And-
I'm gonna get
And
to that.
our conditional approval is only that it's enclosed. If you want to ever open it up, you'll need to come back to us, okay?
I understand.
But I think that's important for the lease. If you have not signed the lease with the landlord.
Not yet. I haven't signed it yet.
My point is that you should bring it up that you cannot use the back.
Or it's going to be a much smaller place if the back is illegal.
That's what I'm saying. It's
It'll
not
save you on rent.
exactly. Yeah, that's what we're trying
The
to do.
negotiation.
Okay. Nellie, is there anyone from the community about this applicant?
No, no one has a raised hand.
Okay, thank you, Nellie.
From the committee, or shall I summarize?
Motion, oh, well.
Okay. All right. So, Kevin, these are the additional stipulations. The rear yard will remain enclosed as is presently the case. You won't use the rear yard until you get a certificate of occupancy or something from the Department of Buildings saying that that use is legal. We changed the two answers on page 5 that say
From no to yes.
there's no music. And to the extent you use any open streets, you won't use the sidewalk, you use the roadway only. And there'll be no music whatsoever in any outdoor space.
Correct.
Motion.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Present not eligible. Okay.
Okay.
Good luck.
And Kevin, could you
Thank you.
maybe have, when you talk to your lawyer, maybe have him reach out to Nellie and get my contact information, and maybe I can talk to him about some of these issues just to make
That's
sure.
not a problem. That's not a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey,
Good
you,
luck.
boss. Thank you. Everybody have a good night, and thank you all.
Too.
Yep. Last item on our agenda, some possible stipulations that we might want to consider for the open dining. Christine is the author. And you may want to introduce them, Christine.
Okay, so you all have the documents. So based on my understanding that the open dining is now permanent, which is what Bill de Blasio said, and understanding also that the open dining is not going to come in front of us at the community board.
No.
I think that just like we're talking about, outdoor space, maybe it makes sense to expand our outdoor space stipulation to include the open dining, and then ask the applicants to, comply with what we would prefer, especially because DOT has not been very strong on certain item, and it's very confusing between the SLA and DOT, who is in charge and who has the guidelines. So what I did is I took all the items which are already in the footprints, which are already approved which are in the DOT guidelines, complied with the DOT guidelines, the tables on the sidewalk, no curbside. Will you leave 8 feet of sidewalk? We know that, except we are making it a little stricter than what it is today. If the table are located on the parking lane, will you leave the sidewalk completely free? I think that Inge has embraced that. We had a letter that we sent to CB4, which says they should put their grab and go counter inside the establishment so that there is no line outside. And we have already voted on that. And there are two new ones here. Let's not discuss them, but I'll take them through. But the two new ones are, will you ensure that there is no standing patrons in front or 20 feet on each side? And the second one was, will you limit the number of tables and chairs outdoors to a maximum number? And we'll come back to that. The next one on the hours, will we comply with DOT hours of operation, which is, I think is 10 and 11, like our hours. And music, background, the recommendation would be no music outside at all. And you know, we have the choice between saying yes to outdoor space or not from the storefront, or just no outdoor music. I would prefer no outdoor music. No live entertainment. I'm saying that because on 46th Street there is live entertainment and the whole street is listening to that. And if windows are open and doors are open, no amplified sound inside, which is what we already have. So of all those things, there are only three which are new in a sense. The first one is, let's talk with the music. My recommendation is no outdoor music. This is something we have asked all the time, and that's the law right now. It's very ambiguous when they have the open dining, but I think it's a good idea to have no open music, because when you have open music in one of them, since everything is open, the whole street has open music.
Well, Christine, we're not talking about a policy, right? We're talking about adding a question.
Yes.
So the question could just be what we're asking people tonight. You know, would you agree not to have?
Right, exactly.
And then we can discuss whether there should be an exception.
Right, exactly.
The context of this is that the open dining, they don't have to come to us.
Right, well, that's true. But when we ask us, we ask them in advance.
These questions will be thrown out at an applicant if they're coming for a restaurant license, and we will throw these out at them. Not that they have to, and they want to go for open dining, they have to come to us, but we're going to say to them, if you go for open dining, would you agree to these?
Exactly, just like we did today.
What's your reaction?
Right,
So
like we did today.
Yeah, but we need to understand that they don't have to agree with us.
No.
To get the open dining.
No, we're just asking them, just like in a lot of cases, we're asking them to do things which are stricter than the law.
Yeah.
We are asking them to, you know, be nice to their neighbors and don't do this. Okay.
And
I agree with the phrasing.
Yeah.
And if they make a good case that it's not going to bother anyone, you know, then you know, we might not care if they have outdoor music.
No, if it doesn't bother anyone, yeah.
Are we going to let them know that they don't have to say yes to these things? I mean, let's be serious now.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michael.
Well, no, just like we are telling them, you know, on Sidewalk Cafe, we tell them we like it at 10 and 11, but that's not the law. And we have a discussion about that, right?
Well, yes. And if you fail to...
The same way that we know it's not a restriction. Right now it's background only, but we'll have the same discussion with that.
Okay.
And then, you know, we've got to remember that we have no enforcement.
No, we don't.
Ability. They can come to us and say, oh yeah, we like this, we'll agree to it. And these are questions we're throwing at them.
Right.
And then 6 months later, when they actually go for the outdoor dining and they don't follow through, all that says to us, we have no ability to say, hey, you said you were going to do this and you didn't. We have no enforcement to take the outdoor dining away from them. The only thing we do have is the next time they come to us for a renewal.
Exactly. Or anything.
Hey guys, you lied to us.
Right. And
they say, oh, we didn't. We just changed our...
It's almost like the same way with storm enclosures.
Right, exactly. It's the same way for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So my next question is about limiting the number of table and chairs outdoor. If you heard the new, the second version, open dining version 2.0, is they are going to be allowed to, version 1.0, they were allowed to have chairs right in front of their footprint, their facade, right? In version 2.0, they are going to be able to expand on both sides.
Right.
Okay.
They could expand. If there's a dress shop next door, they can put tables in front of the dress shop.
Right.
They need permission of the
yes,
the landlord of the adjacent space.
Presumably, yeah, right, obviously.
Yeah.
But here's my question. So I have somebody on my block which is like that. They have a restaurant which has about essentially 5 tables. And the outdoor space is like 20 tables. And I'm posing the question to you, does that bother you or not? I mean, let's assume everybody has a hole in the, a hole in the wall, and then outside they are using an enormous space. And I have mixed feelings about that, but whatever the committee decides is fine with me.
it only bothers me if their neighbors are bothered.
Correct.
Okay.
I just had months of complaints on a restaurant. Bert may know of it. It's on 23rd Street, and it's our neighbors, the Towers. One of the restaurants was expanding their outdoor space under the scaffolding and in the street beyond their storefront or restaurant front to a for lease wine shop that's not empty right now. We finally complained so many times. They have retracted their tables, at least the other day when I saw it. I don't know if they were going to expand again, but they pulled back because there were enough complaints. I think that has to come from the people it's bothering.
So it sounds like I hear 3 different issues here. One is that if we expand to both sides and we get permission of the neighboring vendor, we still have to ask the vendor next to that without that table space if it bothers them. The second one is if there's vacant space, commercial space, you really can't get permission from anybody. So what do you do in that situation?
It's
And
the
then-
landlord.
It's the landlord.
It's the landlord's space.
Right. But then the third one is if it's not the vendors or the landlord space complaining about it and it's the general public, then it feels as though it's an it depends situation. You might have a community that says, we love this restaurant and we love them to expand to the vacant spot, and you might not.
I think we're assuming that the complaints would come from the neighboring buildings, not the
The
general.
residents.
Yeah, it could be the residents of the
situation Inga was talking about. She lived in a building where this restaurant that occupied one small part of it was just expanding beyond it, and the residents didn't want it to, and they were the ones complaining.
They complained so much that the landlord finally, I think, said, move your tables back.
Mm.
And that's, that I think those are the people who have sort of standing to complain, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd think about some general public person who lived 20 blocks away who said, hey, I think they're taking up too much room. I mean.
So I
Yeah,
guess what I'm hearing is that we don't want to ask that question. That's none of our business, and we're going to let the neighbors decide.
I think so.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
the whole purpose of the city's rule change was to give these places more space.
Oh, yeah.
So, where we know things are potential problems like music, I don't mind being potentially more restrictive.
Right.
We don't necessarily know this is a problem in all or even the majority of cases. So
Correct.
I think we should be on the side of giving everybody as much of a chance as we can.
Okay. And the third big question is, will you ensure that there are no standing patrons in front and 20 feet on each side? The idea being we don't want to have a queue there.
Yeah.
Which is in the middle of the sidewalk, obviously, waiting for getting into the, the restaurant, which is in the parking lane, right?
So, Christine, the comment I heard from a lot of operators when the governor came up with that, you have to take care of the 100 feet on each side, was that, what do you do if we have a restaurant, next to each other? you're asking operator A to monitor the stuff in front of operator B. If you think of Ninth Avenue.
So, but let me ask a question. So let's assume you have the restaurant inside, the sidewalk, and the restaurant outside, right? And let's assume now we were talking about ramen. Let's assume that you have a queue there on the sidewalk waiting for each side. What do we do? I think we should ask them not to be a standing patron in their space, right?
Well, if it's clear, I would agree with you if it's clear they're patrons, like the ramen line.
Right.
But if they're just, as we had the problems when we had, the outdoor drinking, if I have a restaurant here and you have, Christine, have the one immediately adjacent to me, and there are 20 people hanging out in front of your restaurant.
I know.
Whose are they? That's the only issue I have with the 20 feet.
Yeah.
No, but forget about the 20 feet. What about in front of their restaurant? If we were
But I could be waiting for the ramen, but I'm standing in front of, Frank's hot dog stand while I'm waiting for my ramen buzzer. Because Frank's got better beer.
So what I'm hearing is that this line this question we don't want to ask, and the next question we don't want to ask, and the one we are going to be asking is the outdoor music and the other guys, right?
Well, let's hear from other people. I mean, that was only a couple of us.
I would agree with that. I think the spirit of people not blocking the sidewalk is actually what I don't know if it's a question or whether it's just in our, we get into the habit of asking if they have a plan for where people will stand if they're waiting for takeout or where they'll stand if they're waiting for a table. Because I think that's the biggest impediment is if you have tables, you've wait staff going back and forth, and now you've got people just standing there. I think it's hard to implement like a 20 feet or any kind of like numerical perimeter on it because every place is so different. So I'd be open to a question around, do you have a plan for queuing, basically?
I would agree. Or just
I like that. I like that phrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good, Wendy. Thanks.
Makes sense.
And Christine, you'd also include all the just to confirm all the stuff the DOT already requires, right? Those are uncontroversial.
Well, I would say complete with DOT guideline because this is like 5 pages, right?
Yeah, but the starred questions on your list, we would still put in, right?
Yeah. Exactly. All those questions would be in, and I would suggest to expand. We could either expand the outdoor space section because we have a lot of redundancies here, or we can have a separate page.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question. You said that about the live music. That is in terms of the time that would happen, or just in general having outdoor music or performance or any kind of
entertainment.
I meant in general. We dealt with one bar 9 and people which are living around bar 9, and we got 25, 30, 40 emails, right? They had a live performance outside and speakers and everything, and it was driving everybody nuts. I was on 46th Street, and
I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable with saying that I don't want it, because I think that's an opportunity for the artists that are, striving right now. There's really difficult. I would just put it as a time, like, okay, maybe we'll do it from this time to this time, and then we are conscious of the neighbors outside. Like, and honestly, even for us, like, it's a distraction to just go outside, have a dinner, have somebody who's playing jazz, or I think that the city, especially the arts, right, it's really struggling with that sense. So I think I would just stipulate it in a time that, like, okay, this cannot go further than 9 p.m. or 10 p.m.
So,
I would just,
Rena, I guess the way I see it is sort of the way we handle indoor music now. We have the questions, are you going to have background music, live music, and DJ? And we use that as a starting point for discussion. If they say they're going to have live music, we say, well, when, how many pieces?
so it will be like a stipulation, like, okay, you have live music, and it's going to be until this time.
It won't be a question that says, will you agree to not have live music? It'll be, will you have outdoor music, where you have live music. They say yes or no. We look at the form and then we talk to them about it.
But today on the outdoor space, we have a question which says, do you agree not to have any music, right? Don't we have that?
Right, in the rear yard we do.
Yeah, in the rear yard. So
But we usually stipulate time, right? Like, okay, if we're gonna have it, we're gonna have it during this time and during this time.
That's live music indoors.
Not on the outside.
Not on the outside, okay.
No, today on the outside, we don't have anything, no music at all.
Yeah, but I mean, these are different times.
Right. No, but obviously those questions are for the future.
Right.
I agree with you that right now during COVID, nobody's going to go and enforce anything, you know, but these are more long-term kind of questions.
All right, I see.
Maybe, Christine, it probably needs a little more discussion. Maybe, Christine, what we do is put a line on page 2 where we currently have indoor, you know, what kind of music do you have? We can have a line for outdoor and, you know, just see what they say.
Well, let's think about that. How to
If outdoor is meant not as rear yard, but outdoor is meant as the parking space rather than the sidewalk space, then the issue really becomes crowd control, though, because you're going to have people not eating at the restaurant wanting to stop and listen. No?
Yeah, you have that. And you have the other thing I had on 46th Street, which is this entertainer was like 300 feet down. And we couldn't hear ourselves. Everybody was, you know, everybody would clap. So it was like the whole street had become an entertainment space, which I don't know. I don't think that's fair. I mean, especially because it's outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to think, part of the problem is, you know, the city and the SLA's regulations are so ill-formed about this at the moment. Like the SLA says you can have live music outside as long as it's incidental to dining, and show times and tickets. And I mean, it's sort of so crazily vague. You know, it's getting late. Why don't, Christine?
Why don't we make a draft and ask the question, right?
We'll send it around.
Right.
Well, I also think, you know, another problem we've encountered in my neighborhood is they're taking up the sidewalk space, then there's a sidewalk shed, and then they've got the street. So there's almost no, people can walk, but anyone in a wheelchair can barely get through because of the poles in the middle from the sidewalk shed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge problem that I've noticed and had a lot of complaints of in our neighborhood.
Well, that's an issue. The sidewalk shed are terrible.
So there should never be tables under the sidewalk shed, which we've encountered and still are having a problem with because there's no enforcement, even though that's already.
Yeah.
I think that's already.
I think that's going to go away in 6 months, assuming that we are out of this problem in 6 months, out of the COVID. You know, I think some of those problems are going to go away.
Yeah, one restaurant in particular is really, they're not going to go away, and the sidewalk shed's scheduled to be up for another year and a half.
That's horrible.
That became a big battleground at the restaurant Maria on Central Park South.
Yes.
The exact same situation.
Yeah, and we're having the same thing. There's just, it's hard to walk through. You can walk, but someone in a wheelchair, I don't know how they're going to maneuver through there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for listening.
All right. So, Christine, you, Bert, and I will work up a draft. We'll send it to the committee. And again, if you could respond with any comments just to Bert and me, because we don't want the whole email chain to turn into you know, a meeting of the entire committee, and then we can go from there.
Yeah.
And this does not have to go to the full board. This is just amongst ourselves.
Yeah, this is just changing the form.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Have
you.
a good night, everyone.
Good to see you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.